Hey everybody, welcome to another round of Canje Plays, and we are live. I believe we're live. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're here. We're here. So hey everyone, welcome to another round of Canje Plays, and this is the post my first GenCon stream. Oh my god, it was so amazing. Anyway, we'll get into all that, and we'll talk about it through. Oh, Bob, I am tired. I'm so tired. Um, we got back in about 2:10 a.m. this morning, and so I woke up. I got some sleep. My significant other, she was amazing. She drove us back, and then I fell asleep probably around 2:30. Woke up about 6. Took the rental car back. Came back. Moved everything into the game room, and then started, and then just like said, okay, I promised my patrons I'd show what I got, so let me just set it up and do it. But I don't know what to call it. I'm like tired, but I'm also amped as well, but then sad. So we'll get into all that. Hey Adam, what's going on? So who do we got? We got Adam, Cynthia, what's going on? Kate, hey, Yogi, Bob. Hey, Bob. What's going on, Bob? All right, so I wanted to get into the stream because I didn't stream all con. You saw me in Rob's stream whenever I played some games with them, and I'll get into that. And so I just kind of want to talk about the loot I got. So all the stuff I bought. I bought a lot. I bought a lot. So we'll get into what all I bought, the people that I met, the experience I had, all this other stuff to go through it. Addiction problem. What did your partner do while you were spending all your time with Rob, Mel, Janet, and Stacy? She was working. She worked the entire con. She popped in from time to time and she hung out with us and saw stuff, but usually I'll run through it all. I'll run through it all. We're gonna start from Wednesday to go through. I'm gonna show you loot. I'm gonna show you a bunch of stuff. No judgment. I bought a lot of all around me, completely surrounding me is the stuff I bought from the vendor hall. We're gonna have a lot of playthroughs coming up. So I want to start off by saying, before we jump into this, thank you to my Patreons, thank you to my YouTube subscribers, and if you're neither just coming by to see what has been going on and what I've been doing, thank you so much. I met some really cool people at Gen Con. I think Rob was right. He said nothing can do it justice until you go there. But it's my first Gen Con. Okay, blah. Y'all want to see stuff, so we'll get into it. Okay. Easy, Bob. Easy now. Easy with all that. All right, so let me see here. Where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? Am I gonna go here? Hey, look at that guy. That's that guy. So this is day one of the con. Where you see this guy. It's not the same shirt. It's not the same shirt. It's not. That's a gray shirt. This is kind of like a blackish gray navy one. So I did shower. I showered a lot. I didn't follow the 6-3-1 rule. I followed the 4-1-1 rule. I got 4 hours of sleep. I ate once a day, and I showered and brushed my teeth once a day. So it was the 4-1-1 rule. What's the 4-1-1, right? So this was day one when I got in there. 10 years older than that guy now. I know, right? Like, I'm completely gray now. So this was the first day. Behind me, let me see if I can help y'all see that, because this didn't scale well. So behind me, that is the painting area. I went in there. This is when I pre-registered on Wednesday. I still have my band on. You can probably see right through it. But I pre-registered, got my band, got my badge, got my will call tickets, all that stuff. And I just walked through the hall. Nobody was there. I was by myself. It was that young strapping man. So this was the halls on Wednesday. So I never experienced Gen Con. I went to the convention center and I went down there and I was looking through the halls and I was like, okay, I expected to see people like flooding and mobbing and everything like that on Wednesday. So I went down there and I took pictures of. Ooh, what happened there? Oh, nope, don't want video. Let's see. Yeah, this is all crazy stuff. Here we go. So this is the hall. This is where like will call was, and you picked up your tickets and all that other stuff. Completely empty. It was a ghost town, right? Let's see. And then this is the board game play area. It was intense. Like there were tables and chairs flowing all the way back. They were still setting up tables and chairs as I was going through it. So they were still setting up all that stuff while I was still there. Like I all I did was just keep walking through. It was crazy. You can see it's just insane. Look at that. It's just insane how big this section was. It was immense, and it was just nothing but tables and chairs for people to play games on. And so I was like, okay, well, it's gonna fill up. It's gonna get big. It's gonna get big. It's gonna be a lot of people. It's gonna be cool. So I think Stacy told me about this one. It's called 16-bit. It's an arcade bar where the games are free. You just have to buy beer. So I bought beer, and then I bought liquor. So that's what that was. And then I took a picture of this is called the Princess Peach. I bought it so that I could play some video games and play through it. So it'll go, hey, Frederick, what's going on? And I drank the Princess Peach and played video games. Then I got a beer and I played some more arcade games and went through it. And so that was pretty much my Wednesday. I got my badge. I took this picture. It says, oh, look, there's a join in the hunt for the Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion that's supposed to be coming out. Rob's done playthroughs of this on his channel, so you could go watch that on Rob's gaming table. I'm going to talk so much about Rob because him and Mel made this experience amazing. So Thursday morning. Oh, look, there's a little bit of people that's in here. Some people are walking around. This is the same shot I took of that empty hallway. And it was Thursday. Okay, cool. Fit for a princess. And I ain't ashamed of it, Yogi. So this is the same hall I took. So we saw some more people coming in, people flooding through, that type of thing. And I went to go to the GenCon store. This is where we're going to start the loot exercise. So I went to the GenCon store. And when I went to the GenCon store, they were handing back this sign that said end of line. So if you're at the end of the line, you have to hold the sign. So as soon as I got back there, someone was like, okay, my watch is over. Yours has begun, and gave me this sign to go through as I waited in line. The line took I'd probably say about 10, 20 minutes to walk through it zigzag. And so we were in this line. I was in this line by myself. This was me out on my own, just taking pictures. So I took a picture of myself holding the line ends here symbol that's on here for the Gen Con end of line. Then I went ahead and let's go down to the table. So on the table, this is what I bought. I haven't even opened them up yet, but this is what I bought. I got so I got the official Gen Con shirt. Oops. That is this. This is the official Gen Con shirt that had the coat of arms on it for Gen Con 2022, the home of tabletop gaming, and it looked really cool. This is a really big shirt. I think this is going to be a little bit too big for me. I should have gotten a large, but I'm still planning to wear it. I also got this one. This was the Pride shirt for Gen Con. So Gen Con was saying, hey, we're all about equality and everybody cool, so I grabbed the Pride shirt for Gen Con, which is this one, which just had all the meeples for Gen Con and the different varying colors. So I had to pick this one up as well. This one was really cool. It looks like a really big shirt, so I think this is probably going to be too big for me too. So I probably should have gotten a large. I don't know why I got an XL. I think because I think that. Anyway, because I probably am. So these are the different symbols of it, and I enjoyed it so much. I was like, yeah, I gotta support. I gotta support. So I went ahead and grabbed this one as well. So I grabbed that, and from spending from that, they gave me this GenCon badge on here. So they gave me this GenCon badge. So it says roll a crit for GenCon and Arts Minis dice. So they gave me this nice little badge, and they gave me the GenCon die. Oh, no problem, no problem, Adam, man. We're all in this together. We're all playing games together. So, but they gave me this GenCon die because they let you choose between like a lanyard and a die, and I was like, if I want to roll terribly, I gotta roll terribly with some dice. So let's throw out the first roll here. And that's a 9. That's about right. That's par for the course. So they had that on there, and I think that's all they gave me for that day. That's all I bought. No, I lied to you. That isn't all I bought. I also got this. So I also got this GenCon mug that's on here. This is cork that's on here. Right on point. I had to pick the dice. I'm a junkie for it. Oh, wait till you see Kate. You think that's bad. Wait. So it has the GenCon logo on it for air, and it has it's part of like a gelatinous cube that has like your tag, water, the map, crush cans, dice, and all that other stuff on it. It's just this really cool mug that you can get to drink with. Hey Brian, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. So all that stuff I picked. So this is what I bought for my Thursday morning. I'll say that. No, this was Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, this is what I bought. I went into the store was open. I went and got it. Thursday, I wanted to experience the opening craziness, so I got to the con at 7 a.m. And I was at the line in the front of the doors because for the mad dash, and people were. Let me show you a picture. I gotta show you a picture. So we'll go back to this one. And this was 7 a.m. They had people who were smart. They came in with some chairs. There's this one guy. He was genius. This guy came in and he brought a collapsible stool. And it wasn't, when you think of it, you think, oh, he has to, it's like these chairs that you see here where you fold and you gotta carry it around. No. It came in a disc that was about this big. And all he did was twist it and pull and extend it and sit it on the ground, and he sat on it. And that was his chair. Whenever he wanted to collapse it, he just twisted it down to about this size, threw it in his backpack, and he was off to the races. I was like, I'm gonna have to get one of those. So there's a thing called a collapsible stool on Amazon that you can buy, and that's what he used at the con. I was like, when I go next time, I'm taking that with me, because I sat on the floor. I think like I ended up hurting my knee the first day. It was just pretty crazy. But this was 7 a.m. I have one of those collapsible stools there, bro. Yeah, I know, Bob. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was straight up bananas. I was like, okay, I need to get one of these things. It was fantastic. So that was 7. 9 o'clock. This is what we were looking at. 9 o'clock. This is what we were looking at. More people flooded in. You remember the guy with the stool? He's sitting right here. More people were flooding in. More people were sitting around. And I met these two really cool dudes. I gotta remember their name because I gave them my phone number, so I gotta remember their name. We still chat right now. We've been talking the whole time. Tom and Will. I met Tom and Will while sitting in the line. Like, Will, I believe it was Will who was coming for Oathsworn. He wanted to pick that up, so he and I were in the same line. We had to get to the Oathsworn booth because I wanted the terrain. And so we were just chatting. He was like, hey, these type of games I like. I'm like, oh, I like these types of games too. So we're starting to talk. Tom's over here talking with us, and we're all just having a really good time. I just met them. I don't know them from Adam, and they were so welcoming and awesome. And so we talked for the entire time about board gaming, life, all this other stuff while I'm waiting in line, and they were just stupendous. So it was great. Canje, I bought it to go to UK Game Expo in case there was queuing. Ah, gotcha, Bob, gotcha. They're about 15 bucks on Amazon. Yep, they sure enough were. They're super cheap. Let's see. So, 9:30. So 9:30, it got a little tense. It got a little packed. Like people were scrunched in. Everybody was just kind of huddled together, and yeah, it was fully packed. Everybody's waiting. If you notice up here at the top, there are people who are up here that didn't want to be part of this massive herd, so they just looked down and took pictures. Over here in the corner over here, where you see this red and these balloons, the convention center made a balloon red dragon, and that's where the stage was, where they were announcing the open of GenCon and the vendor floor, where they were talking. They had this lady that was there. She had like a squeaky, small, tiny voice, but she got up on our chair. Everybody shut up, right? And then she was like, "Okay, welcome to GenCon." Everybody cheered, and so she was like, "I want to see wristbands. I want to see badges. No running." People ran, but I'll get to that in a second. So she's like, "I want to see, I want to see no running," and everybody said no running. And where I was standing in line, I was at the front, which means when the doors open, I know where I'm going. I got a shot to get there. When she got down off that chair, she turned to me and the rest of the people who were in line, and Will and Tom, and said, "We're not opening this ribbon. You have to go down there to get into the hall." I was like, what? I waited here so early. I wanted to be part of the first rush through the doors. But she was like, "Sorry, we're only opening this ribbon down here. So you gotta walk through there." Meanwhile, everybody crunched in to where that ribbon was gonna be because they wanted to be the first to rush to whatever they wanted to get. So I told Will, I said, "I'm gonna hang on to your backpack. Let's go." So as soon as it opened up, I hung on to his backpack. The three of us just kind of pushed through, got in. It was pretty much a mosh pit. I don't know why they did it. It didn't make sense because they were funneling everyone through one door per entrance. One door, instead of saying they're going to open up two doors, one on this side, one on this side, so we can evenly distribute the rush. But no, they funneled everybody through one door, so it was a mosh pit of people trying to push and shift to get things in, and it was insane. What you saying, Bob? What is the question? How come you have come home still needing 9 subscribers for 1,000? I know. I'll talk about all of that. I'll talk about all of that. So, and 9 is crazy. So we got in, but we were still behind. But I think I was the 5th person in line at the Shadowborn Games booth. Even though I didn't run, I like, you know when you do your hip shake and you doing the power walk? I was doing that. Straight there, but there were people who were running. They were running to Fantasy Flight Games. And I think this Thursday I met with Mel and Rob when they came up, and Rob was filming. When you saw him filming, I was right next to him and you heard me talking to him. That was that Thursday. And so we pushed in. Rob went straight to Fantasy Flight. Mel and I went straight to Shadowborn Games. And so we got there. They weren't doing the like, they didn't have the physical copy of the game there. They were doing like reserve orders and then getting your name, money, and all that, and then they'll just ship it to you. So we chatted with Jamie and of Shadowborn, and just kind of really had a really good time. And then Rob came back over, met up. And then he was like, "Okay, well, they got stuff they got to do. They got to work the floor. They got to do their business. They on that grind." So they were like, "All right, well, we'll chat with you later." So they went their way. I went mine. And I continued to walk around the hall, and I don't think I took a lot of pictures of the hall, but this is kind of like where how everybody was just, see how much people, the people. There's Rob right here. So there's Rob. There he is. That's him. So he was with me. He was there at the beginning, and he was setting up his camera that he was using for streaming. So we were all there. This was one of the hall doors. They only opened one stinking door to let people through. We were so pissed. You probably did not see Mel hanging onto your backpack as the initial rush went in. She stayed close. Mel stayed close. Don't sleep on Mel. Mel stayed close. She was on it. So we got to the Shadowborn group games area. This is Tom and Will. These were the guys I met in there. So they were ahead, even though they were behind me because they came up later. Because they funneled everybody, they were able to get in and get through. So they were the first people in. Will got his all-in. He got the all-in game found because I was telling him about Oathsworn and how awesome it was. So they sat down and they played through and they fought against a Broodmother, and Jamie here was helping like kind of walk them through the whole thing. So it was an experience. The game is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's what Jamie was saying. He was like, everybody has these different painted minis, and they did like even Mythic Games, their minis were all grayed out, but there was a booth I walked by that was Shovel Knight. And the lady who painted the minis were there, and they were beautiful. They were just so gorgeous. But it was quite an experience. This is me when I ran into the foreteller guys, because I had to stop by the foreteller booth, and there's a ton of pictures of that. If you want to see those, I have them up on Twitter, like all these different pictures. So then I started walking around, and I ran into, oh look, Darkest Dungeon. So the guys who were there were not basically, they didn't know how to play the game at all. Like the one guy who was teaching it was struggling. It was I don't know what happened. They sent like a few people who didn't know how to play. And so I got to meet up with Marco, who's in their Discord, and I was telling him like, hey, you know, man, times are hard, but y'all keep your head up. You know, as long as people get the games, it's going to be great. And I got to sit down and I played the Vestal. And so as I played the Vestal, we died. We died hard. So so you were working your game crack dealer shtick in line before the con open. I don't think it's so this is the same thing I was telling everybody. I ran into a few people who were like, when I was playing this, the guy next to me, he was like, hey, are you Canje? And I was like, how do you know who I am? I'm nobody. How do you know who I am? And so he was like, hey, me and my son watch you. We think it's really great. And I got to meet him, and I said, hey, it's great to meet him. He was an amazing guy. And so I tell everybody whenever they're and I'll talk to this because Stacy was there, and so she was listening to me, and she was looking to buy games. And people were like, man, you're a true salesman. I said, no, I'm an information broker. I hand out information about a game, and if someone finds it that they want to buy it, they buy it. That's what happened, Brian. That's what happened at Frostpunk. And so when I get the Frostpunk, I'll talk about that. I'm not famous. Rob is famous. I'm just a guy with a camera. But it was still sweet to see people who like said know who I was and said hi and all that other stuff. So I think that was pretty cool. I was able to get a picture of the necromancer, and it wasn't painted, but they had their whole booth of it, but I got the necromancer in there, but I was searching for my favorite, the fanatic. Thank you, Adam. And these are some of the minis that they also had grayscale. I think they just brought it in and put it on there so people could see what they look like. But as you can see the grave robber right here. There's a lot of different ones, but this is my Mr. Fanatic. It just didn't focus enough to get it in. So they had all the minis there for people to see, and it was really cool. I walked around so much. Yep. That happened, and I'll show you that when that comes on, because that's a whole thing. So Thursday. So let me hide that and get back to the table. Everyone publisher should invite you and Rob to their booths. We may not be the biggest communities, but we are pretty loyal and love playing great games. And thank you, Brian. So Rob is the man. Let me tell you how Rob is the man. Rob is the man because Rob knows how these vendors think. He the whole time I'm there, Rob is talking to me. He's like, "Hey, think about this. Look at this. Talk about this." Like he was on it. Him and Mel were just giving me advice, talking to me about kind of don't get hooked on this. Think about this over here. There's this over here. Hey, look online before you go purchase this just to see if the prices clash up. They were looking out for me like amazing. They were just I was in geek mode. It's because as soon as the vendors hall opened and I stepped inside and saw how sprawling and big it was, like I got overwhelmed. But they were like a nice anchor point to kind of say, hey, think about these things before you go do it, and run through here, run through here. Rob was doling out like advice after advice, which was fantastic and invaluable. And Mel was there kind of talking to me about it and being like, hey, don't worry about it, it's gonna be good. So they did a great job. And then I met Stacy, who was amazing, and then I met Janet and her husband out there. So we all kind of grouped together. And we were just talking the whole time, having a good time, laughing about so much stuff. It was great. So you're saying Rob was an anchor? Got it. It was pep talk, but as soon as they went off, I went stupid with it. So let's get into some of the stupidity that I went into. I went by I want to make sure I say the name. I went by Keymaster, and this was the company that I hadn't heard of, but I heard of their game a little bit. And I remember Janet was saying, "Hey, she's interested in getting this game called Parks." So Janet was like, "This game called Parks, it looked really cool. It has beautiful artwork." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna stop by and check it out." I went by there and I was looking at kind of their setup. They had a nice little booth set up where it looks like a big park, and the different booths of the different game setups. So I was looking at Parks, and the artwork was just so exquisite. Did UPS leave you a present while you were gone? No, Locatur, they didn't. But something's supposed to be coming today. I don't know what it is. It's not by UPS though, so it might not be that. So I stopped. So as I was looking at it, and Janet was saying how great the game was, I just said, you know what, give me everything you have Parks. So I bought everything Parks, and they gave me this exclusive bear wooden token, this, and an exclusive GenCon exclusive card. And so I have everything Parks. So, because it's a 1 to 10 player, it's a 1 to 5 player game, sorry, for ages 10 and up, and it takes about 40 to 70 minutes. Janet taught this game to myself, Stacy, her Janet's husband, for while we sat down and we took a break. This game is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's basically like you're hikers walking through a trail and you're trying to say how many parks you visited. And so I just got the 2 expansions that were there, and I was like, okay, give it to me all. Did you go all in? What a surprise. It's super light and quick family. And that was the cool thing after she showed me, and I was like, shoot, this is a game I could play with my son. Because it's not heavy, it's not crunchy. The rules are, you can explain this game in about 5 minutes to somebody. And that was just the base game that I believe Janet taught us. You can play this game in about 5, you can explain it in 5 minutes, play this game, and then you'd be good to go. Ready to go, no problems. So I went all in. I was like, and because they had the box there, and then next to that they had like, Nightfall, which and then they had another expansion. I was like, just give me everything Parks. So I got Parks. So this is the first of the long line. Parks is already on my list to possibly get. Now you probably just pushed me over the edge. Yeah, the rules are a one-way trek with two guys that get you. Basically, you're just picking up resources and you're building. There's a small engine that you get to build as you get canteens to build stuff out. And Janet did a great job of explaining this, and so I was like, Janet made me buy this game. Is this what it's like for y'all, for me? Because All she was just like, yeah, this is amazing. I love it. I stopped by there and I got everything Parks and the Gen Con exclusive card that was for it. But Kanji's not a salesman. 5 minutes is too long. It's not like Takenoko, Bob. It's not like Takenoko at all. Not at all. It's basically so. Let me see. I don't mind opening this stuff up. Y'all get to see unboxings as well as run-throughs. Why not? I don't mind opening this up. I'm keeping my band on because after the stream, before the stream ends, I'm gonna take it off, which signifies the end of Gen Con for me. So that's why I'm hanging on to it. So we'll throw this up here in the corner for now. Come on. Oh, and so it comes with, like, even the art on here is gorgeous, right? So the rule book, this is the rule book, super short, and it feels great. Like the material is just fantastic, but this is a rule book. This just kind of runs through a quick reference of the game action. And then they have the board. So these are the trek paths that you're gonna go on. You lay out a certain set, you shuffle them up, and then you lay them out, and your people walk through it. Then you get these lovely little wooden pieces that just kind of this lovely wooden pieces of like those are sun. You know, there's water, there's mountains. And then, you know, green's not going to show up, so there's forests. And you get 2 of these just in case you play 4-player where the stuff goes across, and it looks like a tree. It looks like a tree branch, right? There's wood in here and everything. So it comes with this game board. You fools! I bought everything. It comes with this neoprene mat. Basically, what happens? Game board. Get that out of here. I went all in. I went all in. So, I bought the neoprene mat to play it. Neoprene mat, of course. And, yep, this is how it goes. So your trail goes along the bottom. This is the trail. These are the parks. The parks sit up here, and this is the deck of park cards. These are kind of like boost cards that you can get by spending sun tokens once you reach your destination. And here's where your canteens go, and here's where your objectives go. So you would put at the beginning of the sorry, not objectives, season. At the beginning of the game, you get two objectives. You pick one. You flip the season that tells you what the weather looks like on your hike, and you fill that out. And as you walk through, you pick up those tokens and start building this engine. When you can collect canteens, which gives you like more triggered abilities and things like that, or you can take pictures, which give you points. And then at the end of the game, the person with the high score wins. So it's beautiful. I'm consistent and nothing else. Yeah, I gotta be consistent. So they were like, yeah, it comes with its own game board. I was like, but what's that? Oh, that's our neoprene mat. Just give me the neoprene. So I made their day. It's a nice neoprene mat. Game board. So that, and it's a small box game. It comes with its own organizer. All the tokens are wooden tokens. They're all wooden tokens. And the parks on here. Like, let me see if I can pull this up for you to see this a little bit better. Look at that. Look at the artwork on there. So this is your score, and that's what you need to buy this card. So it's like a resource management game. And it's all there. There. It comes in this tiny, tiny box. And that's Parks, man. That's the all-in. Yeah, I always love it. It's a built-in organizer that works really well. As you can see, it's full box closed, even when I just threw it back in there. No issues at all. And yeah, once you add in the expansions, it should be fine. Or they come in here. Let's check and see what's inside. How the expansions play. I am gonna do a playthrough of this, but my son and I will probably play it a couple times first, and then I'll do a playthrough. So y'all can see if it's something that would be relevant for your tables. Okay, so this one doesn't have an organizer, it's just more add-on stuff. It looks like for the game, more plastics that you can add in there, and then the explanation sheet to say what's new from what's in parks. I would hope that all this can fit in here, but I will find out, and when I do, I'll let you know. All right, so I walked by the parks booth. I walked by the Keymaster's booth at Parks, and I'm going to put this down here because I'm out of space on the other side of me. So I walked by the Keymaster's booth, and I went and got Parks. Then I was just perusing, lost in the glow of GenCon, just kind of saying, hey, what's this different stuff? I passed by and I passed by. Let's go back to this, my images. And I passed by, let's see, I took a picture earlier, but this is what I'm going to show. I passed by this lovely table. And I said, I know what this game is. It's Frostpunk. I love Frostpunk. It's like one of my favorite games that I play next to Darkest Dungeon. So I took a picture of the table of everything that's set up, and this is all the stuff, right? And I'll have to forward because I got even more detail in pictures later. Here we go. So this is the lovely engine. This is the generator that you're gonna have. And because I backed the Kickstarter, they're all gonna come pre-shaded and everything, right? So this is the generator. What you have to do every round is you take those black cubes, which is coal, and you drop them in the top of generator. Whatever falls out goes on this track that says if you get 4 of them that fall out, your generator malfunctioned, and you have to fix it before people freeze to death. If you drop more and more fall out, and if another 4 fall out, or the total adds up to 4, your generator explodes and you lose the game. So, Frostpunk. But this is the really cool generator that they have. Hey, Greg, what's going on? Look at these boards. These boards were, you know how people say like they're dual layer? I feel like this is triple layer boards. They were thick, and they were embedded to where you had these lovely thick tokens that went in top of it. So they said that some of this stuff is not as much as what people are going to get. I think this was just their demo copy, but they said like the thickness of the boards might be a little bit thinner, because these were thick as hell. But it might be a little bit thinner, but the tokens should be the exact same that are on there. So you've got discontent and hope that's here. You got weather conditions that happen that determine what happens on the game. When I asked about this one, Dan, I always got to switch between this so I make sure I answer your question. So Dan said, when is this arriving? October. They said that they're hoping that it's going to arrive before December. That's what the one of the developers said. He was like, he's hoping it's going to arrive then. The boards were insanely thick, like crazy. Like, and these were the tiles that you lay out with the little. So if you ordered just regular Frostpunk on the Kickstarter, these are what the meeples look like that you're gonna get. I didn't do it, so you know. but if you did, these are what they look like. So these are the coal cubes. This is a generator. This is a generator. So if you play Frostpunk, when you have a generator, it remotely warms things so you can from the big generator. And what has to happen is when you play the game, I have my hands out like you could see them. Everything heats in a radius, right? So when you start the game, there's the big generator, and only the first loop is heated. Everything else freezes, which means people get sick, which means people, can freeze to death, raising discontent. As you keep heating the generator, its radius spreads out to the second, and then out to the third. But you have to be careful because you have to balance that with malfunctions and explosions, and that's why these generators work that way. That's the top of it. So that's the top of the generator. So that's where you drop them in. And some of them, when they get stuck in there, that's good. When they fall out, that's bad. So this is it's a stuck dice tower, basically. Look at the size of these tokens and compare to these trays. It is amazing. So this is the Hope and Discontent board, where I just kind of really got low with my phone and took a picture of it so you can all see what that looks like. So how many games did you take over the booth and teach everyone? Oh, so Yogi, I'll talk about that. Let me get through this and then I'll talk about that. What happened here? Oh, that guy's cool. Dave Thompson. Let's see if I have any more. Do I have any more? I thought I took some more pictures. Oh, here we go. So these are the tiles of the buildings that you're going to lay. If you want to think about Frostpunk from a board game perspective, it's an engine builder. It's an engine builder with multiple parts. First of all, for the demo, they had 4 advisors. Each advisor had a different role. There was the generator advisor, health advisor, social advisor, and foreman advisor. Foreman advisor had a special ability that said, when you're dealing with the resources, the people that you're going to be sending out to do stuff, he has an ability at the preparation phase that can help them. Generator guy, he's the only guy that can power the engine. So if something goes wrong with the generator, he's the person to talk to. The health guy, the health advisor, when people get sick, you have to, basically, if he's the one that's leading, then he gets abilities that helps sick people. So at every round, you have to choose who is going to be the advisor that's going to run for that round. Then from there, they have their abilities, but then from there, everything is free. Everybody talks. You determine on your list, and I thought I took a picture of the. I really thought I took a picture of the people board, but you can see it back here. So, oh, let me pull this down some. Let me pull this down. I gotta shift this stuff so you can see because amateur hour over here. All right. Nope. There we go. All right, so what you see up here is this is the board that matters, right? Depending on how many you have children who you could probably force to work, because you can with a specific order. You can say child labor and pass a child labor law that says children have to work. You can do that. You have engineers. These are the people who run things like chopping houses, hunting huts, different things. These are your skilled labor. And then you have workers. These are the grunts, the people who go out and gather coal, wood, metal, all these different types of things. So based on the number of people that you have, that tells you how many you start with. And you have to feed all of them at the end of the day. If you don't have enough food, discontent goes down, people get and there's the potential for people to get sick. Then you look at where the engine is heating. If it's not heating around where people are left out in the cold because you didn't build enough tents, people get sick. If you don't have a hut, people die, which will lower discontent. If discontent gets too low, they revolt against you, kick you out, and you lose the game. So the generator blows up, you lose the game. Discontent falls, you lose the game. Everybody dies, you lose the game. So, and on top of all of that, there's this really cool mechanic that once you launch the beacon, you can actually go out into the world to find supplies, find more civilians, workers, engineers, or children that are lost and guide them back. You can there's a campaign where you find out what happens to different places that you were in contact with that leads through a long branching storyline that gets you to actually beat Frostpunk. So there's a campaign to it. But if you don't want to play the campaign, you can still play Frostpunk and go through all this stuff. I think it's so... I geeked out on this game. I thought it was so cool. And so what ended up happening, and this is what Yogi was talking about, what ended up happening was the guy who was teaching this game, he's like, man, I just got here today. I'm a volunteer. I don't know how to play this game at all. I'm trying to figure it out. The engineer guy, the designer, he went walking off somewhere. I don't know what to do. So I said, cool. Let me take a look at the board. And I played Frostpunk because I love the IP. And I was able to teach everybody at the table how to play the game just because I know the IP, right? The only difference, the only thing that I wasn't able to that he had to look up that for to teach them was there's a night phase, and that's not in the game. So he was like, "Yeah, night phase. You got to flip this and read what happens, and then make a decision as a group." Other than that, I taught them all how to play Frostpunk, and I was so jazzed and geeked out about it that the dev, when he came back over, him and I sparked up a conversation, and he was like, "Hey, you seem to know a lot about this game." I was like, "Well, I love the IP. I know a lot about it." He's like, "Let me get your information, so that we can get you on the reviewer list, and we can go through all, and we could talk about seeing about getting you a copy." I was like, "What? Wait, what?" So no, they didn't hire me, but there's potential. He said he's going to talk to his marketing person and see if I could get a review copy of it to play on the channel and play it through because he liked how I taught it, which was I don't know. I thought that was freaking amazing. Anyway, let's get back to the table. So I was walking around after I left there. I started meandering through booths. Oh no, you didn't. It was Glass Cannon Games. Glass Cannon Unplugged was the name of the company that makes Frostpunk. So if you ever want to look that up, they're the ones that did it. Sliding into the designer's DMs. So hey Steve, what's going on? So I was walking through, and I was like, man, Spin Masters does. Oh, and Steve, I'm glad Steve is here. Hey Steve, that's for you, buddy. That's yours. I stopped by Spin Masters, and I was gonna get this, right, and I said, okay, what do I have to do to get the promo pack? They're like, okay, you just have to play a game of Marvel United. That's it? Yeah, just sit down, play a game of Marvel United, and you'll get this promo pack. So I said, okay, cool. 20 minutes of my time on a game I love for free stuff. Solid. So I sat down, and everybody was fighting the Juggernaut. We got demolished because I got there like at the end, and they were like, okay, well, just go over there and get your promo pack. So I go over there and I say, okay, I need to get my promo pack, and I got it. And I said, hey, I know y'all are keeping, and they were like, well, we're only giving out one promo pack. People are trying to get a bunch. Nope, we're staying closer. They had this thing locked down by Fort Knox behind two people who were saying no to everybody. I went over there and I was like, okay, well, I'm one of my buddies is Steve from One Stop Co-op Shop, and I was like, hey, yeah, he's not able to make it to the con. Can I get another deck of cards for him so that he can have it? And they were looking at me like, yeah, you're full of crap. You're nobody. Nobody knows who you are. And I was like, nope, no, but you know One Stop Co-op Shop, right? And they were like, yeah. And I said, Steve's been doing a lot of coverage of your stuff. So is there any way that I could get a promo pack for him? And the lady looked at me. I said, listen, it may sound weird, but if you need me to, I have Steve's phone number. I will call him and put him on the phone with you. If you don't believe me, I'm not trying to rip you off. And so they waited a second, and they're like, okay, here you go. And they gave me the second pack. And so, Steve, there's your second pack for this is your pack for Juggernaut. So I got that from there. Is that Glass Cannon Unplugged is in the Glass Cannon podcast? I don't know, Bob. I don't know. So I got that for Steve, and then I got my own as well. And I was like, hey, are y'all selling Marvel United, like the expansions? They're like, no, we only have the base games of X-Men and just the first game. Do y'all have playmats or anything? No, we don't have anything like that there. Do y'all have the Marvel Zombicide game? No, we're just showcasing it here. We don't have anything to sell. It's going to be coming out in the next month. So at your retail store that you can buy it for super cheap. So if you just wait for it, then that's fine. So I was like, shoot, man. Spin Masters didn't do any Marvel United stuff, expansion stuff, so I'm still short on everything. And I'm walking through the con. Hey, what's going on, Brian? Hey, Tiny. So I'm walking through the con, and I see this store. And I see this store, and this store called Family Time Games that is based out of Indianapolis. I see them, and I'm laying this shirt out for a reason, because this builds on my story. I see their store, and I was like, huh, wait a second. Is that Marvel United? And then there's this big box behind it. And so I go over there and I was like, do y'all have all of Marvel United? And they said, we're selling only the bundle. So if you want the big Kickstarter bundle for X amount of dollars, which was the same exact price as the Kickstarter. They were selling it for the Kickstarter price, damn it. Anyway, if you want the big all-in bundle, we have that. Or if you want the season of season 2 or season 1, you could buy the all-in bundle for the same price as the Kickstarter. So I was like, well, I have the first game, and I have both ones, but I'm looking for these expansions. Do y'all have those out? Well, right now we're trying to just kind of sell the bundles because we don't want to get left with a lot. And so I said, okay, well, let me go away. And so I left. I thought about it for a while as I was walking around looking at different vendors, and then I came back. And one of the bundles, I guess someone just wanted one of the bundles was open, and they had stacked it up. So I picked up Phoenix 5. I picked up Sinister 6. And I was like, cool, are y'all gonna be opening up any more bundles? They're like, we'll have to see. Go walk around here, give us your number. If we see something, if we open up a box because we wanted to split more stuff up to get more sales generated, we'll text you and let you know. Cool. So I went walking around for a while ago, 5 minutes. I went walking around, and I got a text, and I came back, and I picked up Blue Team, and I picked up Deadpool. Oh wait, and I picked up Doll Team, and I picked up Fantastic Four, and I picked up that. Oh, and where's my other one? Did I put the Sentinels out yet? And yep, here they are. I picked up the tokens. I picked up the Sentinels. I picked up Tales of Asgard. And I picked up First Class. And I also picked up the neoprene mat. So I have everything Marvel United. Because they split up a whole bundle. The next day I came back, I didn't have Days of Future Past. They didn't open this one up yet. And so the next day I came back, and the guy was like, hey, which was funny for Stacy and I came back there the next day, and Stacy knew the guy. And so she was like, Stacy was my PR person, like you would not believe. Huge shout out to Stacy, because everywhere we went, if Stacy was with me, I wouldn't say anything. I would just be looking at stuff, and Stacy was like, he has a YouTube channel. His name is Canje Studios. He's super famous. You need to work with him. And so Stacy was bigging me up like crazy. So when I came back with Stacy the next day, the guy was like, here you go. And he got me these two, completing the Marvel United connection. Was there any room left in your car on the way back? No, Dan. No, there wasn't. I'm not done showing you what I bought. Stacy was bright. Canje should not be allowed at cons with his credit card. Stacy did go to the con on her own, but she met up with Rob, Mel, myself, and Janet and her husband. So we were all we were all grouped together every evening. No matter, like, we would meet up during the con. There were times where we were walking around and we happened to just congregate meet up at the same point. And I think Rob posted a picture of that. And then at the end of the evenings, every evening at the end, we would all meet up and we would do something. Like, I'll talk about all that in closing. It was amazing. It was the Mod Squad. So I got everything Marvel United that I was missing, everything that I wanted. I have it all now, and I spent a lot of money on it. So let me put these to the side, and that's all thanks to this company called that is based out of Indianapolis. So if you're ever in Indianapolis, stop by their store. They were super sweet and kind. When Stacy was was telling them about me, and they subscribed to the channel. She was like, his wife was like, "Hey, I saw your channel. I subscribed to it." But Family Time Games, if y'all are in indie, they are an indie-based family local game store. They got a ton of content, and they got Kickstarter stuff, man. Like, they were selling so much stuff that is now delivering on Kickstarter that a lot of people don't have. Like, they bought it and they're selling it for Kickstarter prices. They're not like, they didn't upsell it. If they upsell it, it's probably like $5. But that entire thing I bought was for the Kickstarter price. I don't know what you're talking about, Yogi. I don't know what you're talking about. So I told them, I said I'm gonna give you a huge shout out because you're awesome. And Steve and I, as he put in there that we could play the campaign, are gonna be playing the Marvel United campaign, and we're gonna be splitting it up between our channels. So I told him, I said, you know what, y'all were so great, I'm gonna wear your shirt when I play the campaign. So they gave me a shirt for free. Okay. Oh, the addiction gets worse. The addiction gets worse. I still got a lot of games to show you. So after I'm laden with Marvel United stuff, carrying in 2 bags, these massive bags. I'm carrying those 2 around. My significant other messages me and she said, "Hey, I'm gonna come out and meet. I'm gonna take a break from work and stuff." So she came out. We got lunch. I got lunch at about 1 o'clock, and then she was like, "All right, she needs to head back to take care of some work." And I was like, "Okay, cool." She was like, "Do you want me to take these back to the hotel?" I was like, "No, are you insane? This is like a lot of stuff." And she was like a true baller. She was like, "No, you're here for the con. I'm here to support you. I'm going to take these back to the hotel. Keep doing what you're doing." And I was like, "Are you sure? Do you want me to get you an Uber? I can walk them back with you and walk back." She just like, "Nope, I got it." She picked them up and she left. And so, like, she left. She took those back to the hotel. She pinged me when she got back. I felt like crap because I was like, "No, let me help you. Let me do something, please." But she took it all back to the hotel. So I said, "Okay, my hands are empty. Let me go back into the vendor hall." So I went back into the vendor hall. I went back into the vendor hall, and immediately when I got in, I went into a completely different door, and immediately when I got in, I ran into Mind Clash Games. There's a lady there she was selling, they were displaying Septima, they were displaying Perseverance, and they have a new game called Pompano, I think is what it's called, where you have to generate power through windmills through it, and it's by Mind Clash, and it's a new game that's going to be coming, so they were demoing that. So I was looking at that game, and I was like, "Holy crap, that looks cool." And she's like, "You know what else is cool? Perseverance." I was like, "No, that's a big box. I don't want to carry that around all day. That's going to be like, I'm going to be hefting that around. It's going to be super heavy, and it's a massive box." So I was like, "Nah, that's okay, that's okay." So I kept walking through, and I think that ends day 1. Yep, that ends day 1. That ends day 1. So I continue walking through. At the end of the day, I met up with Rob, Mel, Stacy, Janet, and her husband, and we played. And Janet played Parks with us, and we played Parks. We talked. I think that's when Rob did his first stream where we were just kind of talking and chilling out and having a good time, and they were doing stuff. So that's the end when you see that stream where we were all just kind of there hanging out. The vendor hall is closing, and so I was like, "Okay, well, the vendor hall's about to close. That Pompano game looked cool. Let me wander back over there and just take a look at it." And so I wander back over there. We have about 5 minutes more before the vendor hall closes. And I wander back over there, and I was like, "I've heard really good things about Mind Clash, and I thought that they're pretty cool. Septima isn't out yet. This Pompano game isn't out yet. Hey, Stacy! Hey! This Pompano game isn't out yet. So what to do?" And so she's looking at me, and she's like, "We do have this." And so I was like, yeah, but yeah. And so she was like, come on. I mean, you're gonna buy it, right? I know you're gonna buy it. Just listen to whatever's going on. Whoever's telling you on your shoulder to buy it, buy it. So I bought it. So I bought it. This box is immense. This box is look. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see head to size ratio. So there's the front camera that shows me. There it is. So I bought Perseverance. I watched them play it. I did watch them play it. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. But I bought this, and I lugged this back to the hotel. This was my end of the day purchase. Biceps bulging. Yeah, so you see, it's got some heft to it. So it's got some heft to it, but I picked it up and I was like, okay, this looks really, really cool. And they said, yeah, it's not hard to learn. And I sat down I came back the next day and sat down for a playthrough. And it's fantastic. This game is amazing. It's just a warm-up for being able to lift Frosthaven. So I bought this one, and then that was the day. That was the day. We all met up, we all sat down, had some good laughs, played some games, and then we all said, okay, we'll see each other tomorrow and scattered to the winds, right? I went back to my hotel. Stacy, who lives in Indy, went back to her home. Janet and her husband went back to their hotel. Rob and Mel went back to their hotel. And that was the end of Thursday. I spent so much money on Thursday. So I'm going to put this back down, and then we're going to talk about Friday. So Friday... I had the lift set up on my table. I know, right? So Friday, I'm at it with Stacy like every morning. She is a machine. She woke up every morning to come down to hang out. So Friday, I wake up at 7. I get down there about 9 this time because I don't have to rush. I got what I needed. So Friday, we meet up, and Stacy and I are just hanging out, talking. And then I go over, I talk with the people at Foreteller, which, let me see if I got a picture of them. I think I do. I think I got a picture of the people at Foreteller. Oh, I just didn't upload. Oh, yeah, here it is. Isn't that where there's a global building crisis because of everyone building games? Let me see. So I went by Foreteller, and let's pull this picture up and go to this. And I got to meet these awesome people. All of these people are the people who work for Foreteller. So as soon as I walked up, Adam, who is here, right here in the back, he's the one with the skull mask on, he was like, Canje, what's up? And so he immediately recognized me, and then everybody just kind of spun and was like, hey, and everybody knew who I was. I felt like so welcome, and it was beyond amazing. And it was just amazing that they had Foreteller set up, and what they did was they had a contest going where they gave you a blank music sheet, and throughout the vendor hall they worked with different vendors to have like quest locations. It's like if you played World of Warcraft where you have that gold exclamation point, that was sitting on these random vendors throughout the hall. And you go to them and they give you music notes. Well, when you fill out your sheet, or if you met as many as you can find, or you're just kind of like, okay, that's enough, or you get them all, you go back to them. They gave you these raffle tickets, and they were giving away the Chronicles of Drunagor game that kickstarted recently, that hasn't even released yet. They were giving them away. They gave that away. They gave away like all different games. They gave away tons of loot all throughout the entire weekend. Every day was a different thing, but they were giving away Chronicles of Drunagor stuff. Oh, it was incredible. They were giving, I think they gave away Now and Never. I don't know if they did Bard Song. I think they might have, but every game they had foreteller for like Jaws of the Lion. Every game they had foreteller recordings for, they were giving away through the contest, which was really cool. So I'm there with them, and Nikki's amazing. This is Nikki here in her elf costume. Nikki was like, hey, what are you doing Saturday? So I was like, well, you know, I'm walking around the con, I don't have any plans. So she's like, we're having this thing. Here's a ticket. Here's a thing. Go to that. Yeah, we want to go. I want you to go to that. I was like, okay, sure, it's at a thing. Then I run into Thomas, and Thomas was like, hey, are you going to that thing on Saturday? I was like, yeah, sure. And everyone there was just kind of like, hey, make sure you go to this. We want to see you there. So I was like, okay, cool. So I grabbed the ticket and I head off after meeting them. It was insane. They were super cool to meet. And then I went and I played this game. After I left there, I started wandering around the halls. I was stuck on the right side of the vendor hall for like 2 days. I couldn't see everything in those 2 days. If you like go tunnel vision, you don't look to the left and right, you just walk straight, you can get through the vendor hall in a day. As soon as you do this, there goes your day. It's gone. I was stuck on the right side of the vendor hall for 2 days. And I think Stacy was the one that helped me move over from that side to like the center and then the other side in the last 2 days of the con, because I wasn't going to see it all. It must be really fulfilling to have people's right. It felt nice. It felt nice. Anyway, I'll get into that at the end. Like, I'll miss stuff about that stuff. It was crazy. So I made it over here, and this group called, you know, Aries, they were previewing War of the Ring. And so I was like, is that like the War of the Ring, like the board game that Rob and Mel played? And they were like, yeah, but it's a card game. I was like, okay. Does that have a solo mode? They're like, no. But if you want to sit down and try it out, let's demo it for you. So I sat down. So this is where I sat, right here, playing the Shadow. And I sat down and I got to demo War of the Ring with one of the designers. And he ran. We lost, but because I didn't know what to do. But he ran through it, proving your acumen yet again. Yeah, Kate, you owe us. Kate, you owe us for that. So I sat down, and basically what it is, this is all I could really get at the table. I wonder if I could zoom. I don't want to change it. So they played the free people. I don't know War of the Ring. I'm just gonna try to tell you who's who. There's the Dunedain, the Free People, the Shadow, and then whoever the other dark side is. So 2 people play the dark, 2 people play the light. There are 2 areas that are on here. There's these cards here that are called paths. That's the path that the Fellowship is taking on their journey, and you could veer them off their path if the Shadow can win that card. There's also battlegrounds, so there's a major battle happening. And basically, from the bottom of the card, the amount of icons that you have determines the ratio, right? The ratio of who wins it. It's kind of like Nazgul. Thank you, the Nazgul. And so it's like a push-pull thing where we're trying to, the cards that we play in our hand, we have to either go for the path, go for the battleground, try to do both, mitigate it all. Each card has a special ability on it that you could trigger, but you remove it from where it is if you play it. You have a pool that you can place cards down and to use later. You have... there's so much. Every time you play a card, you must discard a card from either your hand or the top of your deck. So you have to play it. So it's all the strategy about how do I place this to where I'm slowing down the path, but maybe I can't focus on the path right now. I need to win this battleground. And each battleground is different. One battleground could belong to the Shadow or the dark side, right? and that gives the dark side buffs, and then the free folk and the Dunedain have to work to kind of take that, and then others belong to the good guys, and the Shadow and the Nazgul have to work to take that stuff. And so you're kind of, there's this mechanic of trying to see which way is the best to maintain control. The overall scope of the game is the first person to 10 points win. And Rob he got to do a like special preview of it. So if you want to see a full playthrough of that, go to his channel. He's got it on there that you could check that out. But it was amazing. It was fun. It just sucks that I won't be able to play it because it's just me. But I'm sure you can combine decks, so it's 2 to 4 player. So I'm assuming when should Rob and Mel get it, they'll just combine the 2 decks and then they'll go head to head, or maybe they'll have Kyle over or Justin or whoever to play on that, so they can do the 4 player kind of fight. And Rob will take care of it. He's amazing. He'll do it. So, but it was fun to demo. It was fun to demo that game. Yeah, you can play it 2 player. You just combine the deck. So I got to demo this game. TTS, that's true, Kate. There will be on Tabletop Simulator, and I don't mind playing it on there. So I got to demo War of the Ring, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I just didn't know what I was doing, because he explained the game as best as he could before we get started, and as I played cards, he was talking to me, and I was starting to pick it up, but the other guys who were at the table, they had played War of the Ring, they saw the similar stuff, so they were able to play it and just be like, yeah, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. That, you know, oh yeah, I know how to play this. Oh yeah, this is like War of the Ring. I'm just going to play this. And so they won, because I was like, all right, I'm going to play this. And the designer's like, you can't play that because that doesn't have that symbol. Okay. Looking for the symbol. Okay, here's the symbol. Okay, I'm going to play this. No, you don't want to play that because you're going to lose this if you do this. Okay. So that was me the whole time. That was me the whole time. It was just, so the designer walked me through. If you've never played War of the Ring, I think like there's a steep learning curve. But if you played it, the designer's like, if you played War of the Ring, you can sit down. You'll see similarities. There's a little bit of differences, but it's enough that you'll pick up and kind of pick it up really quick and know how to get started. I'm not nefarious enough to play the evil side for sure. I just sat down and they were like, you're going to be the evil side. Okay. All right. Cool. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play that. Let me see. After I did that, I gave this game a shot. So I sat down. This is Friday. I sat down to play this game because my feet were hurting. So I was like, okay, this is that Tubaru board with the game like Bad Karma or something. And I was like, hey, can I sit here and watch? And so they're like, sure. So I sat down and was grateful for the chair. And they were like, here, you want to play? So they gave me a cell phone. They brought their own cell phones for this game. And they gave me a cell phone, and they had the app, and they had this die that was on there, this die here, which is digitally synced to this app. Okay, let's talk about this game. Soon, Yogi, soon. So, as I looked through this game, I was like, the concept is cool because the mini is like, this is this boss, but it sits on this heavy-ass base that lights up at the bottom to tell you where it's facing, where it's shielding itself so you can't hit it. So you move around, and you play through it. This game was cool, but it wasn't for me because it's all app-based. Like, it's 100% app-based play. But what was cool about it, I'll say it wasn't for me, but what was really cool about it was the interface for this game is freaking phenomenal. Like, the characters are talking on there while you're fighting. They're kind of saying, "Hey, I just exposed the weak point," and you'll see the color shift on the mini. When you roll the die, once it hits, you see that number get registered to the app immediately. There is no lag. If there are cards that you want to play on your cell phone, you're like, okay, I don't know what this card does. You can hit this one icon and all this information pops up. It's not overload, it's just this ability does this ability does this ability does this, so that you can read it really quick before you select it. I didn't buy it. No, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy this. I did not buy this, but it for people who are interested in this game, the app is I have not seen an app work as efficiently as this yet. Like, it was super quick. There was no downtime between playing. It was fantastic. Like, it was great. I loved it. I just, after, like, once I was playing it the whole time, I was like, this game is really cool, and the fighting is pretty awesome, and working off of each other as the monster takes turns after every player. After every player goes, the monster takes a turn. So that's pretty cool to kind of change things up, so people aren't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna sit back and wait until my turn so I can do it, because the battlefield changes every time. But it just wasn't for me. But it's cool as hell. Can those two exist? Like, I thought the two brew board and the registration and the app production, the performance of the software. I'm a developer. Sorry. The performance of the software was so quick. There was no latency, no lag, no wait time. The only wait time was when the app was waiting for us to do something. It ran through things so quickly, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, yeah, now people need to sit all of this. Yeah, that's true, Edgar. That's true. Because it's, I go, monster goes. Next person goes, monster goes. Next person goes, monster goes. Then it's your turn. So there is that's happening. Yeah, it's. I don't want to turn people away who are interested in the Tubaru board or this game or anything. It just wasn't for me, right? But it was cool. It was cool. It just wasn't for me. So, but that was that. After I got up from here, I went and got some lunch, and then I passed by. That was the day we painted, I think, Stacy, right? Then Mel, Janet, her husband, Stacy, and I went to go paint minis. And there was a free mini paint booth. Remember in my first where it was empty behind me? That was a free mini painting area. So we went over there, registered. It took about 5 minutes to get seated. And then they were like, hey, take this, take whatever mini you want. Paints at the table, brushes are at the table. Go check that out and see if that's something that you would like. So we went over there. We painted. We were painting for about what, an hour, maybe an hour, if that. Yeah, we went over there and we painted. My mini looked like hot garbage, but Rob like came by and he was like, "And let's see what this looks like." And so I was like, "Yeah, this is what's called hot garbage." Like, my mini looked like ass. I hated it so much. But Stacy, Janet, even her husband, that was his first time painting minis, painted all, and Mel's stuff. Oh, it looks so good. All their stuff looks so good. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this mini in a box. I'm gonna close that box up. We're never gonna talk about that again. But their minis look so fantastic. And so Mel and I were talking. We were sitting next to each other, and we were both talking about this set of paints that were so cool. She put on one layer on this cape, and it laid in really smooth, and it looked really fantastic. So we were both like, man, we need to go check out where those things are, what those look like. So I went back down into the vendor hall. Oh, I'm not bringing out that mini. That mini will never see the light of day. It was a I was like, that mini is hot garbage. That mini will never see the light of day. Stacy's mini was awesome though. She should take a picture and share it. It looks so good. Oh, so the paint explosion, the issue that happened with the paint explosion. So these paints that we had, you know how usual paints you have. It's in here. So you know how you have these usual paint stuff right here, right? Where you shake it up and it's got the ball in it, and then you twist the cap off and you squirt your paint. These paints were the cap doesn't come off. It's actually the cap is the open and close, so you twist it and then you squeeze the paint out and then you twist it back to close it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So the cap's twist the cap. So I was like, okay, well, all right, I'll try to open it, but I gotta shake it up first. So I do this, and paint flies everywhere. So paint like flies over, like up and over next to the person across from me. Luckily, I didn't hit her with any paint, but it smeared, it spotted across the table. I was like, I'm so sorry. So, but it was hilarious because all three of us, we were like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. The cap's on. Why did it fly? Is the cap busted? But then I think either Stacy or Mel pointed out. Yeah, either Stacy or Mel pointed out, no, it's a twist cap. So once you twist it, it opens up, and then you spray it, and then you twist it back to shut it down. And I had it open, so that's why it flew everywhere. The girl who was on the other side didn't know that either. So when she went to shake it, she actually got paint on herself. And so I was like, yeah, I didn't even know she was shaking her, else I would have warned her, because I was like, yeah, this sucks. I'm a terrible painter. I don't need to be painting minis. I'm a terrible person. But she got some on herself, and then Janet did the same thing too. She shook it, and she got some on herself. She had some like on her forehead. But after we finish, I was talking about it, and it is pro acrylic, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. These paints, I love them. They're really cool. And so Mel was saying the same thing. Janet said that she knew where this booth was in the vendor hall. So blame Janet. Blame Janet. I want you to blame her for me buying the pro acrylic paint set. This was not cheap. This was not cheap in the slightest. It's by Monument Hobbies. And I got the starter set that comes with these sets of colors, which is about 1, 2, 3. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 4. So 24. So 24 paints came in this box. And I can open it up for y'all to see. They were not cheap. But you get, it's double the paint that you get. So pull these out so you can see. So these are them. These are the. So these are the paints. Big bottles. Comparison size. Compare. You get more in here. Like, I think it's double the amount of paint. So this one is, does it say on here? 18 milliliters. And this one's 22 milliliters. So not truly double, but you get a lot more. It would be 36 if it was double. But you get a lot more paint out of here. And these paints are really, really good. But the twist cap is, you twist here, and it opens up, and then you twist it back, and it closes back down. That's the cap. Like, you don't take anything off. I'll add a ball in here to shake them up. But at least taking that off, you just twist this off, drop the ball in, twist it back on, and no muss, no fuss. With these ones, I have to pop off this top here, drop the ball in, get paint all over myself, and then I could close it back down. So these ones here, but I did pick up these, and this was another made me buy by Janet. Janet made me buy these. So they were very, very cool. They come in, I get all the colors that are on here, and I'll be adding these to the collection. So I knew this would make Brian happy to see. So there you go, Brian. I bought more paint. Oh, I have a mat for that. That's why I didn't mess with it here. I have a mat for that. I have a blue mat when I paint that lays over the table, so I could spill all I want and it doesn't matter. Ooh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'll throw these to the side and figure this out later. But but we did the painting. I got the pro acrylic paints. These paints are so thick, like they're made. Y'all see. Y'all will see. They're not cheap. I'm gonna let you know that now. They're not cheap. And they come in varying sets. They even have a nice metallic. Their metallics look fantastic. Like all the stuff that's here, it looks really good, very vibrant. Everyone else's fault. All of it is very, very vibrant. All the colors are vibrant. Like I ordered some. I think Mel said she was gonna look at her local game store because they, they wanna support their local game store. And I believe she said she was gonna look and see if they have them, or she was gonna order them online. But those are, when she put that green on that cape, it looks so good. Like just one coat. Drink some water before I continue on. I drank a lot of water when I was walking around. All right, so did I buy anything else that day? Oh, yep, I did. I did. It's all the way at the bottom of this stack, so I gotta pull it up. So let me move these over here because last day was when I really went in. So, Steve, you know where to get it, right? So, I passed by Thunderworks Game, and I said, "Hey, my name is, Cynthia's purchases are always usually Kanji's fault." No, I don't get blamed for that anymore. Yeah, it's not cheap, Dragon. It's not cheap for those paints. I want, before anybody goes all in and say, okay, I'm gonna buy those paints, I took the hit. I budgeted for a big spend. I went over by probably, like, I'll tell you that later, but I budgeted for a big spend. I bought these. I'm gonna try them, and if y'all like them from there, then decide if you want them. But don't buy them now until I try them out, because I might try them out and say they suck, and I'll just be the one to take the hit. But I do plan to start streaming painting streams soon with Brian. So hang on, I'll be doing those, and you'll get to see what they look like. And if they tickle your fancy, then I'll let you know more about it. But let me take the hit first to see if it's worth your time to spend money on that stuff, right? I talked to the guys at Monument Hobbies. They were like, "Yeah, when you're gonna stream, let us know. We'll hop in the chat and we'll talk about it and all that other stuff." So I plan to do a stream where I show these paints off to see if they're worth the price before you pay anything. Let me take that hit. Alright, so I stopped by Thunderworks Games, and they had a demo of Dawn of Ulosan, which looks beautiful. I'm a huge fan of the role player universe. I've got almost everything. Almost everything. And I ran into their marketing person there, and I was like, "Hey, my name's Canje. I've done 3 huge playthroughs of Cartographers where I had the chat playing as we go. I've gone through all of Role Player Adventures. I've played Monsters and Minions, Fiends and Familiars in the base game as well. I'm a huge fan of the role player world. I love what Keith and the group at Thunderworks are doing. I think it's fantastic." And he was like, "Have you played Lockup?" And I was like, "No, I haven't played it. I haven't heard really great things about Lockup. A lot of people were saying it's not good." And he was like, "No, the problem with it is that Lockup came out, and soon after that, Role Player Adventures came out, and so people just bypassed Lockup. Like, they didn't really look at it." I was like, "Oh, well, I'm loving the role player world. I think this might be cool for me to stream on my channel." And he was like, "Cool. Here you go. From us to you for all your support." Like, what? Ah! So I got Lockup and the expansion for Breakout, so I'm gonna play this. Now, like I said, I heard a lot of people say that it's not that great, but I want to try it out. I like Role Player. A lot of people said Role Player isn't great. A lot of people said that they hate it. They think it's boring. I know a few people have done reviews on Role Player Adventures saying that it's samey. I hate when people say that. That you can overpower the game, but I had a blast playing Role Player Adventures. I thought it was amazing. And so I got a chance to try a lot. So they were like, "You've been great. Let's try doing this." So I said, I'm gonna give. I'm listening to what people are saying. I'm like, okay, you're saying that it's not the biggest thing. You're saying that it might not be the best of the entire series. Let me judge that. So I got Lock Up to play. It's a good game, especially at 3 p.m. And Lockup says that it's 1 to 5 player. They said that it's soloable, Tiny. So they said that it's soloable. It's at Coolback Prison, which is in the role player world. So it is within the role player universe, but it's part of Coolback, which we played in Role Player Adventures. We were stuck in Coolback Prison. That's where this takes place. So I'm curious to try this out. I want to know for myself, because so far, hit after hit of role player has been hitting for me. There isn't a role player world game that I played yet that I don't like. So I'm going to try Lockup. So I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. Okay. Where are we? Where are we with stuff? Oh, the one at the bottom. As you can see, I'm like lifting, moving stuff. I'm playing Jigsaw so I can do this in chronological order. Here you are at the bottom. Okay, so then I went and picked this up. And I picked this up. So I passed by Inside Up Games' booth, and I saw, because I watched Paul Grogan play a game of Summit, and I was like, this game is cool. It's like, it's a placement game where you have to be really smart about where things go. Because you bluff stuff, it's better at 3 player. Oh, I sold it, but as 2 players. Gotcha. Yeah, so I'll try it and see. It was free. So I'll try it and see. So I passed by Inside Up Games booth, and I saw they had this set up, and I remember Paul Grogan did a playthrough of this, and I was like, this game looked pretty cool. I'd like to play it. So I passed by it, and I grabbed Summit. Summit is a tile placement game, and you probably, hopefully, yeah, you're getting glare. Let me cut this open. It's okay. I plan to play this game. Pop it up. So it's not glaring on you. You're not seeing my fan spinning overhead trying to keep my camera cool. Okay. Throw this over here. And dive down. There we go. Okay. So Summit is a game where it's cooperative, competitive, cooperative, or soloable. Built in, not add-on, from what I've heard. Your job, or your group's job, is to climb from base camp to the summit of a mountain and then back down again. As there's these triangular tiles, so as you move, you play these triangular tiles that kind of tells the path of the places that you can go that jigs you all around the mountain, depending on how you want to lay the tile. So once you get, and as you go through, you deal with weather conditions. You deal with different obstacles that come along the way, and you have to make you and your climbing group have to make your way all the way to the summit and back again. And it's a 2-sided board. Yeah, so, and then there's an add-on. So I'll talk about the add-on in a second. So these are the tiles where when you get up there, you see like there's different ropes saying that how you could climb through. So you randomly pull these tiles, you shuffle them, you randomly pull them, and it tells you what path you can take, which can lead you everywhere. It can lead you all over the mountain, all to different places. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of tiles. But then it comes to the board. Oh, look, a storage solution. Genius! So then there's the board. So this is the board. This is one side of the board where you start here at the bottom. And I gotta zoom back out. Oop, that's in. Out. So you start at the bottom and you make your way to the summit. And then you gotta come all the way back down before some conditions run out to where you run out of oxygen. Either the weather gets you, something bad happens, or you flip it over. And then you've got time of day with temperature. You've got stuff that's going on with the different players. You've got oxygen. If you run out of oxygen, you die. That type of stuff. So, yeah, there and back again. So it's a really good challenge. From when I saw it played, I was like, hey, I'm interested. On top of that, there's these double layered boards of the different different climbers, and they're from different countries. Look at that. Look at that. So French, Canadian, British. Wait, no, that's not French. That's French. What's the side ones? I forgot. I know it's German. I forgot this one. I'm sorry anyone who's from here that I forgot this flag. This is French. So it's Canadian, UK, America, French, German, and dang it. But you get to choose from these different players. Netherlands, thank you, Edgar. Thank you. I'm sorry, my Netherlands peeps. I'm so sorry. So, they all have ages, weight, all that other stuff. And what's really cool about these dueler boards, or is it Italian? Oh my god. I don't know, I'm so sorry. Please don't unsub. So as you carry stuff, the weight goes up. When the weight goes up, your speed goes down because you're becoming laden. You need oxygen to breathe. Well, you're carrying oxygen, which adds to the weight. You're carrying food, which adds to the weight. And that will slow down your movement on how far you can go, and then that's kind of your health as it goes down. Italy is vertical, green, white, red. Okay, so it's not Italian. It's Netherlands. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm good with flags. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. But it comes with a storage solution. All these different cards that go in to say what happens as you go through. There's events like you see fog. All players' speed is halved until the end of your next turn. So bad things happen as you're trying to go through this stuff. There's dice that works with the weather. Little tokens. Everything's kind of like wooden. And you fit everything in here. So I grabbed... Over here. So I grabbed Summit. There's a competitive book and a solo or cooperative rule book. So two separate books. They're not bolt-ons. They're just thought about differently as their design that comes on for this game. Because I saw Paul play this game and I thought it was cool, I was like, I need to pick that up. I grabbed their expansion, which is Teams, which basically it's an add-on to the game. It adds 2 new climbers, and it adds more a new rule sheet for working on teams and helping each other out. On top of that, they've got a Kickstarter that just completed that added a new expansion called Sanity, where instead of you going up a mountain, you're going through someone's mind, which I was like, I have to have that. That is so cool. So they didn't have it there at the show for me to grab, but I grabbed what's been released so far. So I grabbed Summit. And then Rob, Stacy, Mel, Janet, her husband, and myself met up, and that was Friday. I'm trying to remember what we played Friday, Stacy. I'm not too sure. I think we just hung out. But oh, that's what happened. I remember now. I remember now. So, back to pictures. After that, I left the con to head out, and I ran into this guy. I ran into this guy. So, for people who don't know who that is, that's Tristan Hall. And Tristan Hall, basically, he created the Gloom and Kill Force series, which y'all know that's my favorite game of all time. So he created that series. And him and I went out and we had a beer. We talked about so much different stuff. We talked about board gaming. We talked about life in the UK and what's been going on there. We talked about the US. We talked about stuff that's been going crazy all over the world. We just sat down for like a long time and we just chatted. Like it was like old friends just talking, because we'd spoken before, but he is such a personable person. Like, he was so cool to meet. We went to this place which is called the Tap, where we got some beers. But he said he's from the UK, where the temperature is not really doesn't get that hot, except for recently when they had that heat, that heat spike that was really terrible. But he was there in a long sleeve shirt. It was hot as hell. So I knew he was burning up. He was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot out here." Yeah, so he was so sweet and so nice. He was so patient. We talked about Gloomy Kelforth. He talked about how he got into gaming. He was actually making scenarios for Lord of the Rings, and then he said he'd make Gloomy Kelforth. He's like, well, why not just make my own game? So he made Gloomy Kelforth. And so he's talked about that. I tried to pry out of him anything about Sublime Dark, but he is tight-lipped. He will not talk about it. So he was really tight-lipped about that. But he was very cool. He was very kind. We met him that day, and then the next day, he met Jan and her husband, my significant other, and Stacy. We were all outside eating lunch at the food vendor trucks. There's a ton of food that was there, and so we were all outside sitting down eating food. And he came over and he sat down. And he just started chatting with all of us. He's like, hey, Derek, what's going on? And like, he sat down, he started talking with everybody there. And he was just very chill. He was very cool and very kind. So, Tristan, you're amazing. That's why you're my favorite board game designer. So, there you go. So, it was very cool to meet him. It was amazing. Let's see. So that is Janet and her husband teaching me and Stacy Parks. So we were just sitting at the table playing Parks. I snapped the photo. So that's them kind of teaching us Parks. All right. While I was back in there, I also came across Canje. Tristan did not know. Oh, he knew me. I spoke to him in UK. I told him he had a stock in ES. I did not have a photo of you to show. Oh, he knew me. He better know me. So, there's this company called Corvus Belli. And I did a couple playthroughs of just a few missions of the game, Infinity Defiance, that they made. I liked the game. It had a sci-fi theme. It was a sci-fi dungeon crawl. And so I was like, okay, cool. So they were like, okay, well, we're going to make this new game called War Crow, which Infinity Defiance did well, but they got a lot of feedback from fans saying they want a fantasy version, they want a dungeon crawl, they want to play through those things. So they said, okay, let's take some of the mechanics from Infinity Defiance, just some of them, and build out this new game called War Crow that's going to be coming. And so I sat down, and this is where I played. And we got to play this game called War Crow, which is pretty cool because you have a build out, you have this character. I'll talk about what this is in a second because it may look confusing. So you got this one character who has a special ability and has equipment on. Typical dungeon crawl stuff, right? Like Infinity Defiance, you roll different colored dice which have different symbols, new stuff on. And your equipment can trigger off that, so you have these trigger effects if you get an exclamation point, a shield, something kicks that you can use that for, as well as the numbers on the dice to deal how much damage you're doing. So down here, this is your strength. So if I'm going to fight something because I'm the tank, if I'm going to fight something, I'm going to roll 3 orange dice. This is your dexterity. I'm going to roll 2 dice. So it's D&D sheet, right? Think D&D. Intelligence, charisma, knowledge, and something else. But all these stuff are the different dice that you would roll. This is your initiative. And this is the thing that they did that I thought was pretty damn cool. I'll show you what the track looks like in a second. So this is your initiative. My initiative is 5. My movement is 3. If I'm going to defend myself, I get to defend with whatever armor I have plus this die. And so this is my health, which is 6. Okay? I won't go too deep into it. So what happens is, when it's my turn, I get these 3 energy cubes that I get to use to say what I'm going to do on my turn. If you notice on this box here, there's these like shaded in areas and then these dark areas. If you want to do the first action, you have to fill out the entirety of the shaded in area. So for the first action, I would taunt, and then move, and then I could attack something. For this action, it's increase my initiative by 1 to be able to daze somebody, and then I could just do those 2, and then I could do something else like increase my initiative by 1 again. So you have to fill in those shaded areas with these 3 cubes to determine what you're going to do in your turn. The initiative, so, and then there's these cubes around here. Think of all the times. God. So, oh, I'm gonna try. So, these are the minis. I tried to get as close as I can. I didn't have my glasses on, so stuff is blurry. So there's a mage. This mage is pretty cool. The demo, the guy who's doing the demo, he played the mage. But what basically happens with the mage is she has this thing that's this darkness thing. So every single time you use magic, you gain darkness. If you gain so much, the mage gets consumed by it and turns evil. So there's this balance with the mage on trying to not, you know, I want to cast a spell, but if I cast a spell, I'm going to gain a darkness cube. If I gain too much darkness cubes, I'm going to fall into darkness and either die or turn evil. So I can't cast spells all the time, so I have to do these other things. So she was very unique. This is the priest. And basically the priest has, she's a typical priest, heals, hits, armor. Priest. This is me. That was my character. So my character was the dwarf, sword and board, beat people to death with stuff. That's my job. This is the archer, so the ranger, and all these look at the detail on this stinking mini, man. All these minis were professionally painted, of course, but the archer ranged attacks, that's your ranged shooter, typical archer. This is the initiative track. So remember I said that my initiative was 5, so my initiative went here. Enemies always do their initiative first. So you place their tiles on it, and then if there's an enemy, if you see right here, he's at the bottom of mine. So then my tile goes on top of it, which means when it comes around to my turn, I go first. What happens is after my turn is done, I look at my initiative, which was 5, and I would count all the way to 5, and then this would be the next time I can play. If I added +1, it would go here and here, that type of thing. So as different players play, their things pop off and go over here. The problem though is because I go first the first round and I move to 10, when the enemies go, their initiative, they move and they stack on top. So initiative is always flipping and changing. Later, Bob. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining so much. Hey, Barrett, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome. So basically, their initiative would go. I would go first, then my initiative would go on 10 because my initiative is 5. So it's 5 from where I was, and I go on the 10. Then the enemy would go, right? Once, if they were next on that initiative for 5. Once they're done, let's say their initiative is 3, then they'll move to 8. And if someone's already on 8, like let's say the priest landed on 8 for after they went, the enemy would stack on top of the priest, which means they go next. The enemy goes next first. And a round is basically 10 turns around this clock. So once I get from 10 and I go to 1, it goes to round 2. Now, the interesting thing about this game, the really cool thing, yeah, the initiative is really cool. The interesting thing about this game, too, is they took on, and I'll say this, and probably if they ever let me play their game or stream it again, they'll probably tell me never to say it again, but I'm going to say it because I don't give a fuck. They are doing the app-based board reveal like Mansions of Madness does it, but the app is better. It's like you know how Mansions of Madness is like, place this tile and these tokens as indicated. Instead, what they'll say is, place this tile, and it's app-based just like Mansions of Madness. It'll be like, place this tile, and then they'll start reading narrative, and as they're reading narrative, it'll be like, you see a dead body, and they'll show you where to put the icon. Passing through, a guard has come through this thing, and then they'll show the icon. So they won't say place the token as indicated. It'll just be, it's like you're seeing the tokens come on as narrative is being written on the screen. So I think that's so cool that they have the reveal. They're doing kind of like the Mansions of Madness tile reveal to keep things hidden from the player, but it's still, but at least instead of it being laborious, it's just, and I still love Mansions of Madness, but it's just kind of, you see the little bits being placed based on lore, which is great. So that was very, very cool. I thought that was amazing. This playthrough we won, but it was a lot of fun to play it because the dice that they have, and let me see if you have a picture of it. These dice over here. So let's say I'm attacking an enemy, and an enemy has a defense rating. In usual games that we play or dungeon crawls, you'd roll some dice and said, oh, either A, you need to have a number that is higher than their defense, or B, I roll some dice, I do some damage, and I reduce that number by this number, whatever's left is the damage that goes on to them. This game follows through like they did with Infinity Defiance, in where instead of using D6s, you're using D8s. And when you roll the dice, if you land on like a hit and a shield, and the enemy rolls their dice and they land on a shield and a hit as well, you will hit them, but their shield blocks it, and then they'll hit you back. And if you have a shield, you'll block that attack. If not, you actually get damaged by their defensive hit. So it's kind of like that Repose in Darkest Dungeon, where you hit them, they hit you, and then you determine how that stuff goes. So, Warcrow, which will be coming to Kickstarter soon. I got to play it. I thought it was a blast. I thought it was amazing. All right. So, that was Friday. Saturday. Saturday, I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, I was wandering through the halls, and I came across this company called Panda Cult Games. I believe that's what it was. Panda Cult Games. I think that's who they were that were there. And I ran into Lance from Learn to Play. I was like, hey, I'm a huge fan of your channel and all this other stuff, and he was super nice and pretty cool. And I was talking with the designers, and I was like, they had an expansion for Cult of Barnacle Bay. So they had an expansion for this game called High Tide. Is the enemy add-on for Cult of Barnacle Bay. I have Cult of Barnacle Bay, and I was like, I have the game, I haven't played it yet, but I want to play it. And they're like, well, don't worry, we have these exclusive copies of High Tide, the enemy add-on for Cult of Barnacle Bay. Do you want, I was like, okay, I'll buy this from you. And so I was like, hey, my name's Canje, I run a channel. I don't have a bunch of subscribers. I have 900. I love every single one of them. I think they're amazing. But I'm still growing. I don't have, 30,000, 1 billion, 10,000 subscribers. So I'm just kind of, building my base but I want to play games that I want to play. I love the community. I want to be part of it. And all this other stuff. And they're like, okay, well, tell us more. Tell us what you play, the games you like, that type of thing. I was like, I have Cult of Barnacle Bay. These are the games that I like. These are what my favorites are. They're like, do you have a card? I didn't know I had to have a card. This is my first GenCon. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Welcome. So, I was like, okay, I didn't know I needed a card. this is my first GenCon. This is my first gaming convention entirely. I'm new to the whole thing. So they were like, oh, well, let's talk. And so I was like, so they were showing me another game, right? I was like, I'm going to buy this because I want to play Cult of Barnacle Bay and I want to big up your company. I think it's fantastic. And then they showed me this game called Shovel Knight. And I was like, that looks really cool. The board builds as you move through. That looks pretty amazing. And so I was so stoked about it. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And they're like, yeah. I was like, do you have any of them? And the minis are so cute and nice sized, right? And so I was like, well, do you have any more? It's like, no, we sold out of our last. I was like, well, I want to cover it on my channel because it looks really cool. And I love Shovel Knight. I played the video game and I've liked it. And they were like, well, let's see what we can do to talk to you about Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, the PC game, Sagabra. They made a video game. They made a board game for it, and it's a 2D board game. And so let me talk about this because I told them I plan to paint these minis and try it. The lady who I talked to that painted these minis, she is a force. That lady was awesome. So she was like, hey. I said, hey, I want to stream it. She was like, okay, here you go. I was like, okay, but I really want to stream with the, with the minis and get that because I want people to see the beauty of the game and all that. And she's like, yes. They stopped doing the standee version of this game, and now when their next reprint comes in, it's going to be all minis, for playing through this. And so I got Shovel Knight, and so I'm going to be playing this on channel. I told her, let me know when that comes in. She said that she's going to send me the minis, and I'll paint them, and then I'm going to play Shovel Knight on stream. And I think she said that she was going to join in. She was going to join in and talk and chat, and Jonathan's going to be there to talk about it. So we're going to connect, run through all that stuff. There are standees. There are standees in this one. This is the one that they have where you'll see the standees on it. But basically, as you walk through the board, there's long tile boards, and I'll open it up. I don't care. I don't even know if I should. Right? But it's just so cool. Maybe she'll contact me and be like, hey, don't be saying that stuff on stream. I was like, but I'm so excited. I think y'all are so cool. So this goes off to the side. So as you can see, like, there's the 2D enemy stats that are here that you'll play through. And then these boards this kind of sits out, and what happens is boards slide in. So it says bottom of tile, top of tile, so it's there. Let me see if I can find it. Those are the standees that are with this one, but I want the minis. And it's a storage solution, which is great. Dice, so y'all enjoy me failing horribly. And then we have our character cards that are on here. But this is what they have, so it's kind of like, it'll be start and it'll slide in. It'll be here. And then as you play, as you can see this thing lifted out. But as you play, you start sliding in these different boards. You start sliding them in, and as you keep walking and progressing, more starts sliding in and sliding in. So it's like a 2D scroller that's going out. Yo, I love the art on it. Y'all have to see, like, the designer was there, and he did a demo playthrough of it. This game is freaking... It just looks so cool. And it's so, look at the variety in this. Like, this is a lot of stuff. And you're seeing that. You're just seeing all that. There's snowboards. There's dungeon boards that are on here. There's just so much stuff that built out that this looks so cool. But that they were able to be like, hey, you know, to me, in my head, and I'm going to say this straight up, in my head, all I'm thinking of the entire time I'm there, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I don't I don't know. I don't feel like anybody knows me in terms of the board game creator space, you know, the designer space. So I'm there networking and talking to people. And I mean, even the book looks amazing. So they talk about the bosses and how they move and what their tile rules are and stuff. And just to be able to say, "Hey, I'm a board game, you know, I'm a board game content streamer," they were just so sweet. And it wasn't that they were trying to kiss. Ooh, so I can show you the minis on this one. This one has minis in it. So, but they were just so sweet, and it wasn't because, hey, I'm a content creator. Even if they were like, yeah, you know, some people will be like, hey, this guy's full of crap. We don't know who you are. Get the hell out of here. All of them were like, hey, you know, let's chat. Let's talk. Doug, what's going on? What's going on? So these are the minis. They are so amazing. I gotta zoom. Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see. Nope, that's the other way. Other way. Other way. So these are the minis. Look at that. Look at that. This is gonna be amazing to paint. I plan to paint all of these. I'm just gonna let you know. But these are minis for an add-on. They're more, it says that they're Wandering Travelers pack, so these are more people that you can play. But the game itself, Shovel Knight, is going to be coming with minis, and all the minis looks just like this quality. They look so good. Like, look, imagine like painting this, you know? It just looks so amazing. And all of them are like these nice little fun style minis that are just on here that just look so amazing. So I was like, yeah, you damn Skippy, I'm gonna play your game. So but they were able to, you know, they wanted to support the channel. They were super open to it. They were super open to it. They want to support the channel, and when the other minis come in, she said that she's gonna reach out. I have her contact info, so we're gonna connect. I'm gonna get those minis, paint it all, and then play this game. This is going to be amazing because I love Shovel Knight, the video game. So that's gonna be fun. All right. And I'm also going to play Cult of Barnacle Bay. So I do plan to play Cult of Barnacle Bay. Has those same type of minis, those same quality minis who look really great. So I have Cult of Barnacle Bay over there on my shelf. I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to play that as well as getting into the High Tide stuff, so you all can see if it's something that you want to check out. I want to support that company, not because they were like, hey, I'm sending you free stuff, but because she was just so nice. Like, you have no idea what that meant to me. It was just, the whole time I'm there, and I'll talk about what happened Saturday night, but I also bought, and Stacey, you're gonna have to keep me straight on this one, because I think, oh, when I stopped by Cora's Belly, I told them, hey, I'm a content creator, can I stream Warcrow when it comes out? She gave me her card and her information. She gave me this die, this plush die, so yeah, there you go. That's a hit. That's a hit and probably an activation. 2 hits activation. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. I'm still keep getting a hit. So she gave me that plush thing, and she gave me a mini for Warcrow. So this is a Warcrow exclusive for GenCon. It's coming out fall 2022. It's probably green, so you won't be able to see it there. So it's coming out fall 2022, and she gave me a mini. So, cool. And coffee. She gave me oh no, this is the coffee from, that's the coffee from Parks. Parks gave me. Anywho. Oh, this was the other thing. So, David Thompson. I want to talk about David Thompson. So David Thompson, I went by his booth, and I have a picture of that. Let me find that, and I will show him to you, because you saw a quick glimpse of it. Let's see if I can find. Where is he? Where is he? Because I got to talk about this game, and maybe some of you have played it. Maybe some of you have been like, "Yeah, we've checked it out. We love it," that type of thing, or whatever. But I got to talk about it. I gotta talk about it. Let me see if I can find the picture. Here it is. Here it is. Here he is. So let me pop this up. This guy, David Thompson. He is the developer of the game Undaunted. So if you played Undaunted Normandy, or the one that they did in for the African campaigns of Rommel and all that other stuff, he did the Undaunted series. So Rob said that he talked to this, he saw this guy he wanted to talk about, and he said, hey, I'm gonna sit down and talk about him. Rob's telling me all this cool stuff about this guy. I was like, okay, I gotta go meet him. So I get over there, and I sit down, and I was like, hey, I talked with Rob from Rob's Gaming Table. I've heard from so many other people that this game is amazing. I sat down and was like, tell me why. Tell me why this game's so good. Because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying it's a great game. This dude, he sat down and he talked to me we talked for about 30, 45 minutes. Not only about this game, but the reason why he made this game. His grandfather was in the platoon that you're playing in the game. His grandfather's name's on the stinking, and was on one of the cards of one of the soldiers when you play that game. And he built that off of that type of era where his grandfather's platoon was, and that is like his homage and how he got into it. And then I was like, whoa, that is crazy. That's pretty cool that you're trying to, like, you know, do this homage to your grandfather, which is pretty cool. And he's like, but wait. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And he said that his wife, he found out after some tracing, his wife's grandfather was in the same platoon as his grandfather. And so he said that the game was not it was still in development early enough that he was able to get his wife's grandfather's name into the game as well. So I was like, what? And then he's talking to me about all this other stuff and how to play it and what it means and this push-pull mechanic. and that you could play it solo. There's an AI that runs through this. So I was like, that's pretty damn cool. And we're talking for 30 minutes about anything. We're talking about the game. We're talking about how he develops the game. We're talking about so many things. And then I was like, okay, so then what's the Stalingrad game? He's like, oh, that's the campaign for Undaunted. So he's like, he's releasing that on Kickstarter soon, where Stalingrad is basically the campaign for Undaunted. And what he did with it, he said, he pulled open the scenario book, and he said the tiles are persistent. So if you blow up a building, when you come back to the game, when you come back to that area, the tile blown up building is still there. It's still there, so you're still walking through the persistence. And it's a lot more tiles. He said it's like double or triple the tiles of Undaunted, because the map is actually the map of all of Stalingrad. So you are walking through the entire conflict, and there are times where you're going to return back to areas or go through, but each map, it shows you like the massive map, and you're going through sections of Stalingrad as you build out these tiles. And as you return to older tiles, whatever happened there, if you blew up a building, if a tank was destroyed, those stay persistent. Like, it persists throughout the whole game. I was like, what the hell? So I was like, okay, it's a campaign. You can solo it. Give me that game. I want it. I want it right now. He's like, sorry, it's not out. This is just kind of like the preview copy. We're still finishing off the story of it. But he's doing real. He even said like he took a trip over to get the accurate representations of these different locations and the stories behind it all. He works really hard on it. And so I was like, dude, I gotta get a picture. So I took a picture of that. Stalingrad's coming out. I am backing it. But in the meantime, I was like, I love your story. I think that everything that you're doing is amazing. He is super down to earth, very chill, ready to talk about everything. So I bought Undaunted Normandy. One, there's representation. A lot of people have a big thing about, they don't care, they want to play games. For me, when I see representation, it makes me feel good, it makes me feel connected. So I met David Thompson. He was like, yeah, that's my name on the box right there. And I said, okay, I'm going to take this from Osprey Games. I'm going to get this game, and I want to play it. You can play it solo. He said, yeah, you can play this game solo. There's a solo variant that you can play and check it out. So I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna give it a shot. But I didn't get the African one only because I want Stalingrad. So I didn't go all in on this. I just got this to support him. And then I was like, when Stalingrad comes out, let me know. If there's a preview copy, if there's a reviewer copy, keep me in mind. He's like, yeah, let me get your information. He got all my information. He went to the page and subbed and everything. And so he was like, yeah, when it comes out, let's talk. Let's see if there's one available. I might have to have it shipped to you from another reviewer after they're done. And I was like, cool. So I was like, I don't care. As long as I can play that. That sounds like amazing. So I wanted to give him a huge shout out as an amazing guy that I met there who had the story of this game is incredible. So if you ever get a chance to meet David Thompson, just give him a nod or what. He's a stand-up guy. So I bought that. Then Saturday, you all saw Persistent is cool. Maybe like Seven Continent how it persists, choices made. Yeah. And it is. It's choices made or combat done to go through it. So after that, I met up with Rob, Mel, Stacy, and Cynthia and her husband to play Marvel Champion. And you guys saw that. Rob streamed it live. So you saw us play that. After we finished that, I got some food. I got some food, and then I went back, and that was the end of Saturday. It was a big day of stuff. All right, I wanna take a pause here because it's so crazy. It was work is getting in the way. Yeah, Janet. Did I say Janet? I said Janet. Janet, her husband, Stacy. Rob, Mel, me, we all played games. We met up every day. To play. No matter what, it didn't matter. It wasn't like we walked around together. Sometimes Stacy went off, she did her thing. Jen and her husband did her thing. I did my own thing. Rob and Mel were you know, they were doing their thing. They were off somewhere. But at the end of the day, we all met up and we all just hung out, right? And it was so cool to do that. And so that was Saturday. Saturday was a long day, but it was a lot of walking around. We'll talk about that at the end, Tiny. So Sunday, and I want to give the most. This is where Stacy won. Stacy won GenCon MVP for Sunday. So Saturday, everybody's talking about this game that Fancy Flight is selling called Twilight Inscription, and I wanted to find out why people were running when the doors opened, and they were running to get Twilight Inscription. Every day they gave away 10 copies. Every day of the con, just 10 copies of this stuff for Twilight Inscription. So Stacy on Saturday, she said, I want Twilight Inscription. I'm showing up early to get it. So I was like, I got your back, girl. So I go down there early in the morning. We meet up. We meet up at I think it was 8 o'clock. I think it was 8 o'clock, Stacy. We met up there in front of where we knew they were gonna open up the damn ropes this time. And everybody's like bunching together. People are like trying to push in front to get favor so that they can move. And people were running. Like they were saying, don't run. Everyone's yelling at these people, stop running, don't run, walk, be careful, all this other stuff. And so so I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make this. There's no way I'm gonna make this. I can't get this game. It's not gonna work. And Stacy was like, I'm getting that game. So she didn't run, but that girl power walked. And so I caught up to her, and I was looking for her in the line. I couldn't find her, and she was like fifth in line. And I was like, hey, and she was like, she just pulled me. She was like, all right, this is where we are. And because of her and her awesomeness, I was able to get Twilight Inscription. I threw tackles because I was able to get Twilight Inscription. So Stacy was con MVP for this. Like, she was amazing. I don't know how she did it. The girl was a machine. She got there. She was in line. She had the spot for me. And so as we were going through, and it wasn't like it was stacked on a shelf and people were pulling. This lady was holding them, and she was just like, just handing them out like this as people were going and said, go to this register, go to this register, go to this register. And so she handed me the game. I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Boom! Twilight Inscription. So while I was there, this was at Miniature Market that was doing it. While I was there, I grabbed Imperium Legends. I grabbed Thunder Falling Skies. And the new Zombicide Gear Up! So I was it. So not only was I was like, hey, I remember Cynthia saying she loves Imperium. So I was like, okay, well, okay, sure, I'll grab Imperium because you know, Cynthia says she loves it. Cynthia and I like the same types of games, so I grabbed it. Then I remember I met with AJ from Van Ryder Games, and I'll talk about Saturday. I'm doing this now because I want to go back to Saturday night. And I remember when I met him Saturday night, he was like, hey, I picked up Under Falling Skies. It's gonna be funny. I've never played it. I was like, don't worry, I've never played it either. But my friend Fred, my friend Rob, my friend XYZ have all said this game is amazing, and you know, Shut Up and Sit Down said that it's an amazing game. So when I saw it there, I was like, yoink. And then the new Zombicide Gear Up, which they announced, they were like, okay, well, we have a set copy of those, so I grabbed it. So I grabbed that as well. So this is the haul. So this is the haul that I grabbed from them. Because I did that, they gave me a playmat. And yeah, they gave me a playmat. So this is the pickup. This was the early Sunday. All right, I'm gonna pause there because a lot more happened Sunday, and I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back up because I went to the foreteller event, and this is what we're gonna talk about. And this is where all those pictures came in that I posted on my Discord, but I'm gonna share them here as well. I went to this event and I was like, okay, I don't know. It was at this place called the Slippery Noodle, right? I think Stacy was saying that. I think hey Billy, what's going on? I think Stacy was saying that it was she's like that's the oldest building or restaurant in Indianapolis, I believe. And so I was like, I didn't know that, but the place was a freaking maze. I walked into the front door. It's a tight little bar, so I was like, how are we gonna all fit in here? Even the foreteller people can't fit in here. So I was like, hey, I'm here for an event. And they were like, the private party? I was like, yeah. So they pointed me, they said, go down the hall, make a right, and then go all the way to the back. I was like, okay. So I went down the hall, turned right, and there's a bouncer at this one door, and there's this line. So I was like, oh, I'm here for a party or something. I got this tag that says I can get it, and he's like, yeah, we have to throttle at the door because it's getting really full in there. So just wait in line. So I'm standing in line. Jamie walks by from Shadowborn Games. I'm like, hey. So he's like, hey, how's it going? Because I had talked to him earlier, and he was talking to me for a bit. And he was like, yeah, I had dinner with King of Average, Michael King from King of Average, but we're trying to find wherever this place is. I was like, wait, what? What? So finally I get in, and they have this name and list and stuff to scratch stuff off. I'm like, my name isn't on the list. I didn't sign up for anything. And Nikki from Foreteller saw me. She was like, here's your wristband. And she puts a wristband on me, and she like, go on in there. So I go in there, and when I get in there, the first person I see, and I'm going to start sharing photos now because I'm geeking out again. The first person I see is Becca Scott. And I was like, hey, you're a Good Time Society. I like your content. I think it's cool. And she's like, hey, come on over here. And she like grabs me, and she like leaves her head on my shoulder, and she's like, take a picture. So I was like, sure, click. And she's like, you know, she's super friendly. She's just welcoming and very kind and everything. And so we took a picture together, and I was like, nice to meet you. And I look around and I see Alex from Board Game Co. Which let me go through these pictures. So I run into she was at the Foreteller booth, and she sang a song. So her name is Bonnie Gordon. She was on Geek and Sundry, and she does voice acting and acting work and all this other stuff. And so I was like, hey, I know you. You were on Geek and Sundry. You did Star Trek. She's like, yeah. And then she's like, well, I gotta go for a second, but I'll be back. And she goes up on stage and she sings, and she has an amazing singing voice. And she wrote this song about D&D. Like, she wrote this wonderful song about D&D that like rocked the house, and people loved it. And so when she came down, she was like, I think she had finished singing the song, and says that she's a Bonnie looking for a Clyde. And so my first name is Clyde. So, but I go by Derek. And so when she came down, she was like, I sing it, and there you are. So we took a picture together, and I thought that was so amazing that she was so kind and so nice. So I was like, that's awesome. This was the beginning of the crowd. So you see, this is Jamie here, and then this is Michael King. There's a bunch of other people that are around that are, if you look at her, you'll be like, hey, I know that guy. And I was like, so the whole time, I back myself into a corner, and I'm like, I don't feel like I should be here. These are people who like are famous or well known, and so I kind of messaged my partner. I was like, I'm feeling really weird. Like, I should leave because maybe this is not for me. And she gave me some really nice, insightful words to help me. And then Adam, this is the reason why I shoot him out for Foreteller. He grabs me from the side. He's like, no, you're here because we want you here. You are amazing. You are great for this community. We want you to be around. So he was just like, if you want to meet people, you let me know. I will take you to meet people. Like this person, he pulls her over, and I'm just like, okay, well, time to go into mode. So I start talking to everybody about everything, and it just was really cool, but it was surreal. I ran into, from Geek and Sundry, David Walters, and I was like, this guy's a mountain. He's like tall. He's super tall, and I was like, man, what the hell? And he was from he did a series on Geek and Century called We're Alive Frontier, where he played a really big part. And I was like, dude, damn. And so I went up to him, I was like, man, I gotta shake your hand. I was like, thank you. Representation, just the way, the amazing acting work you do. I was losing it. So but he was like, come here. And so I came over, and so I was like, can I get a picture? He's like, sure. And he leans down, he does this and takes the picture with me. And I got a picture with Alex. This dude is the most mellow guy I've ever met. He is mellow. Like, I was talking with him, and he's like, yeah, this isn't really my scene, but I want to come out and I want to see people. I want to see the community. And he was super kind. And he was just mellow. He was chill. He was just sitting back, just taking in the scenery and having a good time. And he was awesome. So I got a chance to get a picture with him. He was very nice. This guy. I went up to him and I was like, hey, I was like, hey, what is all Geek and Sundry here? And he's like, probably. So he said, yeah, this was his first Gen Con. He's been to other conventions, but he'd never been. And he's like, man, I love it here. And so I was like, holy crap, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yeah. And so he took a picture with me. Then he went up on stage and him and Bonnie sang a song together. And I was like, damn, why am I here? Who are these people? They're awesome. I know he was amazing. I got to meet a Brit from, if you watch Geek and Sundry or Critical Role. So I got to meet her as well. She was there with her husband or boyfriend, her significant other. I can't say husband or not. But her significant other, she was there. And so I was like, hey, I know you. You're on TV. So she was like, ah. So I was able to I was like, can I get a picture with you? And so I took a picture with her. And she was like, thanks so much. And she's like, yeah, it's always great to see everyone here. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then so then I got a picture with King of Average, Jamie, and this guy in the end. This guy in the end is Jamie's dad. That guy's incredible. This guy's the coolest guy ever. So while Jamie and King of Average are over there talking, they're having their conversations. His dad pulls me to the side, and me and his dad start geeking out about tech. He talks about life in the UK. He runs through all this different stuff about traveling. He said that Jamie was like, yeah, his business partner wasn't able to make it, so he was like, last minute, hey, Dad, can you come? And his dad was like, sure, why not? Let's go. So he comes to the show, and the entire evening, I'd probably say for 40% of that entire evening, I was talking to that guy. So when we were leaving, I was like, man, I'm about to leave. I just got to shake your hand. Dude, you're amazing. It's so glad to meet you. So I was like, but they were all of them are cool. All of them are cool. His dad's awesome. His dad is awesome. And then this was the final day where I took pictures in the morning when I got there. But that entire party was crazy. There was a guy that was there. He was a dentist. Was he a dentist? He was a dentist. But he was giving people fangs. Like, he was doing the fang stuff. And so he was doing it for everybody that was there. Like, if you want it, go do it. I didn't do it. But if you want it, go do it. So all of the foreteller people got their fangs, like their vampire fangs. And it was caps that he put in, but how he was a dentist. He knows what he's doing. But however he did it, it looked freaking real, and it scared the shit out of me. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. No. But everybody else did it, and they were getting their fangs and everything like that, so it was really cool. And then Saturday I stayed out there until I'm an old man. I know some of you younger people will be like, oh, you stay until they closed it down. I was like, no, I stayed until 11:30. Then I went home. I went to the hotel and went to sleep because there's more conning to do. But from what I heard, the party, they shut the place down. Like, they were there until the entire place closed down, and they said it was a huge success. So, foreteller, you're amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me for that. That was just grand. That was an experience. That was a big experience. I don't know how I got lucky enough to even be considered for that, but it was a wonderful experience to go through that, and I thought it was great. Oh man, that was top notch. That was a big night. Anyway, Sunday. Sunday. we're back to Sunday where Stacy wins the Gen Con MVP. Where I picked these up. After I picked these up and from the miniature market booth, I was like, oh cool, I got some cool stuff. And then started walking by this one place. I was like, hey, I know that game. A lot of people tell me that game is good. And Stacy's like, oh, it's so good you have to buy it. That's all she said. That's all Stacy said to me. That's all she said to me. She was like, oh, it's so good you have to buy it. So I bought all of Robinson Crusoe. Oh my god. I bought a lot of games. So I picked that up. She's right. That's all she said. That's all she had to tell me, and I bought it because I was like, "Yeah, I trust you. You know what I like. You and I like the same stuff. You say it's good. Give me all of it." This is all he had, and so I bought it. And so I grabbed that, and then Stacy and I were to. I think we hung out all Sunday. All Sunday we hung out walking up and down the halls, and I actually passed by, and this is going to be something relevant to Kate's interest if she's still on. And I'm going to zoom in for this one. I'm going to zoom in to figure this out. So they had an exclusive card. I'm going to zoom in for that. For a specific game that Cynthia, Kate, and I really like. They put the One Deck Galaxy character into One Deck Dungeon and made a character for it for One Deck Dungeon. Oh wait, and they had the Abyssal Deaths add-on, add-on pack. So this was a Gen Con exclusive character. They may just stick it in the One Deck Galaxy box when it comes out. But I stopped by the company that makes One Deck Dungeon, grabbed the Abyssal Deck add-on pack, but they had a character that they were just saying that they were like limited copies. Here's this special character for One Deck Galaxy that we made for One Deck Dungeon. Have it. Like, you didn't have to buy anything, you just came by and took one. So I was like, nice! So I went ahead and I grabbed those two, and I picked those two up. I got Stacy to get in the Aventuria. And then, so Stacy and I were walking around, and we passed by, I gotta put my glasses on to read the name of this company. Pocket Paragon. We passed by this booth. Indie guy, he just started. Super small packs, and I'll zoom back into these one. Super small packs, and he got this one called. He was playing this game called Pocket Paragon. Two-player game. But I got this because me and my son are gonna play this game. It's we're not done. It's a rock paper scissors game. That's all it is at its heart, a rock paper scissors game. But it has some mechanics to where you have to play. You have a deck of cards. That's all you have. But the different stuff does like the cards do different things and they counter each other. So what we do is we both have a health meter of 10 and a power meter of 5. So if you get 3 power, you get this ultimate ability card that you get to pick up in your hand, and you put this down. So Stacy and I are playing this game. And we realize we're like, oh my god, this game is so amazing! And the playmats were very pretty. I didn't get any playmats. I just got these two. But it's called Pocket Paragons. It's not if you're a heavy gamer that doesn't like games, that you can play with your kids or games like that, don't even go anywhere near this. This is a really short, quick 5-minute game that you can play with your kids, where you're against each other. Each deck has different abilities in it, and your fight, it's a rock, paper, scissors. So I play this card, I want to do 1 damage to you, so I turn it upside down. You can't see it, I put it down. You put your card down, and then we flip it over. If your card counters my card, that card comes back to my hand, I don't hit you, and then whatever's on your card happens to me. And vice versa. Once you spend those cards and they're running out, you got this one card called the rest card. So if you put that card down to rest and say that you're going to rest, if they put the counter card down, they hit you, they kill you, you lose the game. So they kill you while you're resting. You win automatically. But if you get the rest card down, then you take all your discard pile and put it back in your hand. Yeah, we were yelling, high-fiving. She and I were like, okay, well, let's try this out. Dang it! Or, like, we kept playing against each other, and I think I beat you by, like, 1 point. It was a close win. But this is Pocket Paragons. That if you're interested, it is a game that is super, super light. It's very light. Don't take this to a game group where you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the greatest game ever, but it's great for children. It is great for kids. It was close. It was a close fight. And they have a big box. These were the promos that they gave us. But they have a big box that you could buy. So this is 4 characters basically right here. But they're the big box you could buy with all the characters, and you could play through the different ones, and each ones have different abilities, but the counters still work. Like he balanced it really well. I ran into Quackalope. So Stacy's like, "Hey, is that Jesse from Quackalope?" I was like, "Huh." So I went up to him and said hello, and he gave me and Stacy a duck. So I ran into Quackalope. Then it's still not done, y'all. I bought this. So this is oh god. I bought so much. This is from the company that makes the game just jumped right out of my head. I told you, Kate, I bought a lot. I told you this. Let me see. I gotta remember the thing is Mythic. Because I watched a playthrough of it and I really liked what I saw. IV Studios. This is the company that made the game. That was the game I just played. I played the game I played on the channel. They had a Kickstarter that was out. Let's see. It's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. This is right on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna bug me. IV Studios made a Titan something. God, Moonrakers. Thank you, Yogi. They made Moonrakers, and I love Moonrakers. The only thing was their new Titan Kickstarter came out, and it adds onto it. But I already have Moonrakers, right? So I was like, I like that game. I'm curious about this one. I was watching it. It looked pretty cool. So I was like, yep, I'll grab it. The only thing I wasn't able to get, they had a Witches expansion, but it's all little minis, the cute little minis, as you play through this game. And it's basically you're questing, you're going through this dungeon, fighting monsters, and you have this ability track. So it's a dungeon crawling game with really, 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 really cute minis. Really cute minis. And it's 1 to 4 player, it plays really quick, so I was like, okay, well, sure. And I think when I ran into, I think Stacey was like, hey, what if you don't like the game? And I said, if I don't like the game, that's okay. I don't mind taking the hit only because, and this is the reason why, when everybody's like, man, you're buying a lot, how do you do it? You know, that type of thing. Let me tell you the reason why I do that. There is a company in Charlotte called Potions and Pixels. The head of that company is actually running a kind of like a camp for at-risk youth from, I think he says he goes from 5 all the way to like 18 or so, but he has them come in. Home Depot donated like 5 of those big Dremel 3D printers to him to help with this project, and it's super huge. And so when I got in contact with him, he was telling me what was happening. I was like, dude, I've got board games that I don't play. These kids can benefit from it. And so he's like, really? I'll come over. So he came by. I loaded him up with board games, and I was like, let's keep this going. I want to play games. I want to try out different stuff. So what I'm going to do is, whenever I play through a game and I beat it, if it's not going to stay on my shelf, I'm going to, if it's a big game, I'll try to resell. So I'm doing this balance. I do the resell for the Kickstarter price, so I get that for my board game budget. But if it's not moving, I'll be like, hey, I got these games. Are you interested in getting them? And he's like, yeah, I'll swing by and pick them up. And so I donate them to that charity. So I do kind of a little bit of that's how I do it. So when I get this game, to me, I got this game, I like the concept of it, but I got it purely for, if it's a game that's not going to gel for me, I know the kids will love this. So I don't mind donating it. So that's why if you see me like, oh my gosh, you've got so much, I will play them. And then I will donate. And then if I'm seeing like, okay, am I going to hang on to it forever? No, donate. So I got this. And as the con doors close. Oh, no, before the con doors close. I also stopped by Chip Theory Games. I bought this. I bought a box. I bought Chip Theory Games coffee. It's caramel and nutty. And it smells so good. Like, Rob was like, hey, you got to smell this stuff. And I think there's a card in here or a chip or something. But he was like, you got to smell this. So he did that. I was like, yep, I'm buying that. So I got some coffee, and I do drink coffee. And while I was there, you know, since I was there and all, I got the chips for the health for Too Many Bones. Well, Canje, why did you buy the chips for Too Many Bones? You don't like the game. You don't own the game. Why would you buy this? It seems like you're crazy. Well, there are other games that are out there and games that are soon to be delivered that I need health tokens for, of the variety that this quality is for the channel. So I got them premium chips of health, the premium health chips that I can use in other games, because there is a reason why I did this. I'm just not telling you yet. But I bought these to use in another game for health chips, and I was like, well, I could use dice, but I was like, no, you know, Chip Theory Games make quality product. Their stuff is bar none top notch. Like, you can't beat it. These chips are second to none. Got me some health chips. So I bought some. So I bought those for Chip Theory Games, and I got those health chips to go, as well as the coffee from them. There's something. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. So this is my Chip Theory Games purchase. There is something interesting. I stopped by a booth, and they gave this game called Mission Control Critical Orbit. That's supposed to be, it's a multiplayer game. It was the huge thing. It was like this huge booth that looked like a capsule, a space capsule. And they had these different coins they were giving out if you wanted to sign up and pre-order it. It's a multiplayer game, so it's not something that I can play, but I grabbed this because I was like, somebody might be interested in this game or may look at it and think it's cool, so when I talk about it on the chat, at least let me give them some exposure, because I like space. I'm a space nerd. So, there you go, space nerd. And as the con closed, I made my way, I think I went through everything. I made my way over to a final booth to pick up my final game. This was their display copy. They sold out. I came back there to get it, and they were completely sold out. So I was like, shoot. They were like, come back at the end of the con right before it closes, and we'll sell you our demo copy for cheap. I was like, sweet. So I went and got it. So I have Escape the Dark Castle, which is a really cool game. If you've played Spire's End or games of the sort, you'll see it. As you can see, it's their review copy. It's all over the frickin' place. But you have these cards of these characters as you're trying to get out of this dungeon, and you're these peasants, like low level peasantry. As you're trying to get out, you got to roll these dice to get out. So it's a dice rolling game, but they have a skit, and they signed it for me. Both the devs signed it for me. So I don't think I missed anything. Oh my god, I dropped everything just now when I turned to the side. Did I miss? Nope, that's everything. So that's all I bought at GenCon. However, wait, there's more. Did you mention your pre-order? I thought you pre-ordered. I don't think I pre-ordered anything, Stacy. I don't think I pre-ordered anything. Did I pre-order? No, I didn't. I said I was going to, but I didn't pre-order it yet. I was gonna pre-order Hero Quest, but I didn't pre-order it yet because when I went on their site, I saw the sign and I know what you're talking about, Stacy. I know what you're talking about. Okay, so Stacy and I are walking through Sunday, and I go by. We meet up with Janet. Janet reserves this nice long table for everybody to just come rest their stuff on, and I go by there. I drop off my trove. And I was like, "Is it okay if I leave this here?" And I said, yeah. I said, Stacy, Janet, you love parks. Have you looked at Cascadia? And I was like, and she was like, oh, Cascadia, I love it. I love the game. I was like, damn it, Janet. So, so I was like, okay, I remember seeing they're the same people. And she was like, yeah, and they also have a game called Calico that's really cool. And she loves it. It's a puzzle. So I was like, stop. But by that time, my brain was already done. So I said, okay, let's go back in. Stacy and I are looking for the company that makes Cascadia and Calico. And I saw a banner of the Calico cat, right? I saw a banner of it, and Stacy's like, "You sure?" So I was like, "I'm not crazy. I saw this banner." We walked the entire floor, and then finally I found it. I was like, "See, it's the cat. I'm not crazy." And so she laughed, and so they had a booth for Cascadia, for Calico, and a new game they had called Verdant. and so I was like, I want all three of these games now, please. And they're like, yeah, we don't have Verdant. You can get Calico and Cascadia, or for their price, or you can go to our GameFound site and get all three of them for $99. And I was like, Janet says it's fun. Okay, but I didn't pre-order it yet. But I'm gonna pick those up. So that and the con. So that and the convention. At the end, we all met up. We all gave each other hugs, and I think I have a picture of us. Let me see if I can find the final pic of us here. Here it is. And let me see if I can pull it up. Boom. So we all got in. So basically, we all got our pictures taken together. So Rob, Mel, me, Stacy, Janet, and her husband that was there. And he's an amazing guy too, right? The guy's got stories, man. He's awesome. So we all met up right here. We all took our final picture. We all gave each other hugs, and we said, "Hey, take care." And Stacy left, and then Janet and her husband left, and then Mel and I had to deal with some stuff, and then we said bye and we left. And so at the end of it all, we as soon as we left, I went back to the hotel, packed up the car, and we left. And we didn't get back here until 2 something this morning. We drove straight through back to Charlotte and got back. So my brain's like bzz. And so with that, as I meeting them, let me talk about this first. This con, on its own, I've never been to a convention like this. I've been to Dragon Con 5 times, and I've never been to a convention like this. Everybody was so nice. As I walked in, I walked in the hotel from the first day, when I was headed out, and I saw this couple that was in there, and I was like, hey, how's it going? They're like, cool. They're like, is this your first Gen Con? I said, yeah, I've never been here before. I don't know what to expect, anything. So they were trying to give me advice and stuff on what to do. And then I went back to my room for a second. Well, I came back downstairs to grab something. And the guy, I didn't even remember this dude, right? But the guy came and he found me. He's like, "Hey, you, come here." And so I came over there and I was like, "What's up?" And so he was like, "Man, I feel like such a jerk. This is your first con." And I was by myself, right? So he didn't know that my significant other was with me, but I was by myself and I was like, "This is your first con. You were by yourself the whole time." I thought, like, shoot, we need to take this guy with us. He doesn't need to do this con alone. He just like, let's show him what it's really like. And I was like, what? They were so, and everyone was like, everybody wanted to talk, everybody had a story, everybody wanted to hang out. If it's like, oh, there were times where there were tables that were filled up with people. As soon as a seat opened up and I had my food in my hand, they're like, "Come sit down, eat with us." Like, everybody was just there to be community and be tried, and I had a blast. I had a blast of that con. What made this convention the greatest convention I've ever been to is these people. They blew my mind. Every single one of them. We hung out, we laughed, we talked about anything. Rob was like geeking out with me on tech. We just like talked about any and everything we could. When we met up, it wasn't, "Oh, hey, you're this streaming guy." It was like we were family, right? I'm already tearing up. Damn it. It's like we were, I gotta take my glasses off if I'm gonna cry. We were like family that were meeting up like nothing ever really, like we didn't miss a beat. As soon as we sat down, as soon as we met up, as soon as we just chilled, it just felt like unity. It just felt like we were just locked. And even though we didn't stick close to each other the entire con because we were all doing different stuff, when we met back up, it's like we didn't miss a second. We didn't miss a second of it. When we met for Marvel Champions, Janet was helping. She was helping me explain some stuff when I was teaching Marvel Dice Throne. Janet was helping me when I was helping them learn Marvel Dice Throne. She was teaching us Parks. She said she's gonna teach me Scythe. What Stacy was there. She was super friendly. Her energy and her spirit was unreal. Unreal. She was just these kindest people I've ever met in my life. Like, Mel was so warm. She was so kind and inviting. Like, if I didn't understand something, she would talk to it. She looked out for us. She was just in it to have a good time. And Rob was like big brother the whole time for me. To me, that's what that played out like. He was like big brother. He was like, think about this stuff. Whenever I was like, "Hey, this is what's happening," he's like, "Listen to this. No, don't do that. Here's the reason what's going on." And he was guiding me and giving me advice on this stuff to where they just kind of took me all in and made me feel like I was part of them, right? And I'm already like, so it was a great weekend of Gen Con. Jesus. I hate this. I hate this. It was a great weekend of Gen Con, but these people made it incredible. They made it incredible. So I thought it was like I never felt that much love from a group before. Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna use one of my shirts to dry my eyes because I don't have any tissue nearby. But I never felt any love from a group before, and the welcoming the entire Gen Con community was so welcoming. But these 5 people made me not feel alone, right? So it was just amazing. I'll get through it. I get through it. I get through it. But it was just amazing from beginning to end. and it was a special moment where it made me feel not alone. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's great. It's great. I think everybody was super friendly. Nobody was rude. Although there were people who were running. No, there was that one rude guy. Oh, there was this one rude guy. It was crazy. He's probably gonna see this and curse me out, but there he might not know who I am. But there's this one guy. There was one incident during that entire con that sticks with me. This one guy, he went to Mythic and he wanted to complain about Darkest Dungeon. And I could tell all he wanted to do was just talk. That's all. And I'm sure he was upset. He has every right to be. It was a sucky situation all the way around for everybody. But he just kept repeating himself over and over and over and over and over again at Marco. And Marco handled himself with such poise. He looked him dead in the face. He was talking to him. He said, "Here's what's going on. Here are the numbers. Here's the breakdown." He ran through step by step, line by line, the reasons why this thing happened and what was going on. And he just stood and he took it. This guy's like yelling at him, and he just took it. But he was calm in his responses. And the guy just kept going, kept going. Like Marco was running a demo, and this guy yanked him from the demo and just wanted to do this thing, right? So the people who were waiting for the demo were stuck waiting because this guy would not leave him alone. And the people actually ended up getting up and walking away. I was standing there waiting to talk to Marco, and this guy just wanted to monopolize his time and complain. And I understand, there are people who need to get that out. Let's get that out of our systems so that we can continue going. But that's all he wanted to do. So I said, "Hey, Marco, I'm gonna walk away for a second. When I come back, I'll try to catch you, whatever." And he's like, "Thanks." And he apologized to me. He apologized to the people at the table, and we went off. When I came back, I was like, "Dude, you handled that like a pro. Like you handled that like marketing should be handled, where you listen to them, you take it, they're upset. It's not at you. It's not personal." And so you listen to it, and then you handled it with grace. Top marks, top marks. So Marco, if you're amazing. Anyway, so ends Gen Con. Oh, y'all got me crying on stream, damn it. Ooh. Here we go. So ends Gen Con. So that was my first Gen Con experience. Oh, the shoes, yes. So one of the people in stream talked about these Hookahs Bondi 7s, these shoes. The shoes were amazing. Yeah, the shoes were fantastic. So these shoes are like, they have some real thick layers, so you feel like you're walking on sponges as you're walking, and it kind of cushions as it helps. I'm flat-footed, so long walks and standing is a little rough on me, right? This entire con, I think I hurt my knee, but that was the only problem I had. Walking around was oh, it was you, Stacy? Thank you. Big help for that. They were great. The shoes were fantastic. They lasted the whole con. My feet, my feet tingled a little at the end to where I used a tennis ball and rolled my tennis ball on my heel and my foot to kind of massage it. But while I was at the con, my feet weren't a problem. The shoes were fantastic. Thank you so much for the recommendation. They were great. They were fantastic. I'll show you which ones I got. Let me see. Y'all got me freaking crying on stream. Man. Let's see. Bondi 7. And 7. I got the side up. I'm just trying to find the shoes I had. These are the ones. Okay. So let me show you this. I gotta go back to this scene and then turn. There you go. So these were the ones I had. Those were what I was walking with. and they're well worth the money. You're like, wow, that much money for these shoes? I didn't pay this. I paid this. It was 150. My shoes were 150. I am a 12. Nope, a 12. 12. 12. 12, you jerk. 12. Ooh, the price went up. The price went up. When I bought these, it was 150. But the price went up. These shoes are crazy comfortable. They're super comfortable. They got like this. So right here, as you see at the bottom, all that's cushion. All that's not where you're. That's just pure cushion for you to stand on. And these shoes were incredible. These were the ones that I have. I think Rob had some as well. I think he had these, maybe? I can't remember. You can ask him. He'll tell you. But these shoes are worth the price. They are so comfortable. I did not have, so thank you for the recommendation, Stacy. They were super great. They lasted the entire con. My feet weren't feeling like they were about to, I think they felt like they were about to fall off because it was just kind of a long day and I was worn. But these shoes held up to the pressure. And there's different styles that are on here, but they were like the different kinds that are built here. And the colors look good. Like these ones, I got a lot of compliments. Oh my god, why does it keep jumping? I got a lot of compliments on these ones. Like a lot of people were like, "Man, these shoes look really great. I liked it." I watched the game streaming channel and Canje made me buy shoes. I know, right? I know. So that was my first Gen Con, made special by 5 people who I will cherish them forever. So that was my first Gen Con. Hopefully next year, I'd like to go again. And I want to. Hopefully next year, I've called it. So what I've called it, and we had a oh, thank you, Stacy. So what I called it, I think we had a private chat where all of us were just chatting with each other. Where are you? What are you doing? Oh yeah, we're doing this. Let's meet up here. We're gonna play this game. We'll bring this game. That type of thing. And in that, I put down. I said, we can call it. It was Rob and Mel Con inside Gen Con 2022. So to me, it was the first Rob and Mel Con, right? So hopefully next year. Yeah, it was great. You're amazing. Excited, great. You had a great time. Glad you had a great experience. Hope to hang with you next year. Yeah, so hopefully if there's next year, if more of you are gonna go, I'll go again, right? And so we will have our Rob and Mel Con and Gen Con to where we can all meet up and play games together. It was a surreal experience. Pictures don't do it justice. Me even telling you about it doesn't do it justice. It was so incredible, and I didn't see everything. I remember Janet said that she went to Lucas Oil Stadium, and the entire Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play was covered, where people went out and played board games there. The whole field was covered, and people played board games there. There was stuff in a hotel. There was a dance party at night that happened that Stacy went to. There was so much to see, and I feel like I only saw 10% of Gen Con. I saw the entire vendor hall, but I feel like I only saw 10% of the Gen Con. I remember I went up an escalator and there was a CGE booth outside of the vendor hall, and I was like, what is this? Why didn't I know about this? Oh, Tim. Oh. Oh my gosh. I gotta tell y'all, pictures don't do it justice. Me describing it to you doesn't do it justice. It's this weird experience. Imagine you go to a city. Let's say imagine that you go to a city. Everyone in that city is a board gamer. Everyone. And everyone in that city is kind and nice and cares about you. There was someone who was walking around. Oh my gosh. There was these people who were walking around and they were looking for people who were struggling. Like if anybody was overwhelmed, this was in the vendor hall. They were walking around and they were like, they were looking for people to be like, if you're overwhelmed, they would take you off to the side and take you to an area where you can just chill. Like if you had a lot of anxiety, they would they would find you and they would be like, come with me, take you to this area where you can just sit and regulate. There were people doing that. Like everyone was all about, it wasn't like a convention where it was like, okay, we're just gonna sell you board games. We don't care about who you are or what you do. It was everyone participating in Gen Con cared about you. If they saw you struggling, they wanted to help. There was one time I got lost and this lady was like, where are you looking to go? Can I help? Like she just stopped this, and it wasn't one of those people, it was just a stranger. Um there were lots of tables of people playing different games. there was there was just so much stuff to see, and I didn't see it all. I didn't see it all. And that's the thing. I want to go back because I want to see everything that the Gen Con has to offer. There's so much stuff. Oh, I think even for me, where I was talking to everybody and anybody who would talk, and I would just be like, "Hey, tell me about you and meet you and all this other stuff." Even for me, like there was one time where I just got overwhelmed, and I was just like, "I need a minute. It's I need a minute." And so I kind of like went over and sat down. I was like, "Oh man." And then when I was fine, I got back up and I got back into it. But oh my gosh, it was just incredible. I don't know if other conventions are like this. I don't know. From what I've heard from some devs, they said Gen Con is like its own thing. It's like its own world where where no one is a dick except for that one guy, and everybody was just a stupendous. And then I got to hang with five of the nicest people, and it was just I'm still like there. I'm so sad that it's there, but I gotta do the annual thing. I got my wristband, so I'll do this, not rip my hand off, and boom. So ends Gen Con. That's crazy that it's grayed out. You see? It's grayed out on stream, but it says Gen Con on it. But that will put a close to Gen Con. Oh my gosh. How long have I been streaming? Y'all made me freaking cry. So uh um but that was all she wrote for this wonderful experience. 360 days to go. I know. We need to get more people going. Man, that was crazy. Like Janet was just awesome when she was like they're making a trip. They're like doing this almost cross country trek as they head back home, and they're probably on the road now or close to their destination, and it's just surreal. Ah, if y'all, I'm telling y'all, people who know Rob, what you see on stream is him. That's not an act. That is him. Like that guy is ridiculously kind, and he's so mellow. It's crazy. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I need to go it's late and I need to get lunch. But thank you so much for joining me. I've got streams to schedule. I've got boxes to sort. I've got all this other crazy stuff that's going on. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown. This is my first Gen Con, and this is how I felt about it. So hopefully I didn't bore you to death and you had a good time just kind of listening to me ramble on about this stuff. Well, there's a lot of games to play. There's one that might be delivered today. I don't feel that it is. I don't feel that it is. And when I talked to Rob about it, he said everybody gets their games from UPS for Oathsworn. So, and this one's coming by US mail. So I don't feel that it is, but if it is, if that is what arrives today, you will see another stream of me doing an unboxing. Point blank. So stay tuned. For the Discord, I'll let you know what it is when it comes in and plan accordingly. But other than that, that's all I really got. Oh my gosh, my calyxes. there's board games all over the floor right now. But there's lots of games to play. I plan to play them all. I'm gonna play all of them to see how they go, and we'll go from there. Oh my god, why did I buy so much games? Why did I buy so much games? Thank you so much, everybody. Stacy, Janet. Oh god, Rob, Mel, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. And I will see y'all all in the next stream. I need to go get some stuff, so I will talk to y'all all later. Bye, everybody.